It's Thursday. You know what that means, everybody. It's time for the VGB's podcast, episode 44. I'm one of your hosts, John Moore. With me is my forever co-host, Niki Grayson.
Hey, what's up? I'm happy to be here talking about video games.
You haven't talked about video games at all this week.
Nope, not once. Happy to talk about video games.
Happy to talk about them. With us is our very favorite person. You can see him over at the brand new Game Informer. It's Charles Harte. Hello.
I swear I've been here before and I don't remember this bit at all. It's gotta be.
It's a whole show like this.
Okay. Should I? So I guess I'll commit to.
Niki, that's Marvin the Martian who got kicked in the nards like 2 seconds ago.
Whoa.
We're all so
I'll
fine.
commit to. Oh yeah, I'm German now.
Oh, wow.
So this would be. Hi, I'm Charles Harte from Game Informer. And it's a good time to be German.
Never been a better time.
Never
is what
has
I'm
been
always
better
saying.
time. I did just watch a clip from Jean's. I've kind of become French here. Oh, what is
Yeah,
Ooh,
what's
I guess
happening
you're
there?
French.
That's crazy.
My
accent
You
fell out.
represent the whole European Union.
Sorry, it's a clip from X-Men First Class, in which we have Michael Fassbender, and he is speaking his German and using his magic powers to throw a knife and catch back in his hand. And I was like, I kind of want to do this voice, so I
That's
will
good.
go back to the German.
Yeah, it was you went German in this kind of like hiya, like the Michael Haim hiya, that
Yeah.
thing. And then you went French, and then you went like Arnold Schwarzenegger Austrian, which I appreciate. Which is
Yeah.
That's Arnold
That's
Schwarzenegger
right.
stubbing his toe.
Louis.
that's right. Listen, folks, we know.
Good job.
Yeah, that was
right.
a good one. That's a good intro, I think. That's
Yeah.
maybe the best one we've done.
We did. It's the best intro we've ever done. Listen, we know that there's a lot of video game stuff to talk about. That's great. But I do want to start with the fact that the Game Informer is back from the dead, Charles.
Hell yeah, dude.
Now, you did
Congrats.
this start to finish
Single-handedly.
yourself single-handedly.
Absolutely.
So tell us kind of like how that happened. My legit question to you is like, we've been talking to you consistently. I know you've been keeping this kind of tight, but it's like, where was the moment for you where it went from, oh, this is kind of a fun thing that we're talking about, but whatever, to, oh shit, this might actually happen? What was that moment like, and kind of what was happening? I'm curious.
Yeah, so maybe a week after we shut down,
Okay.
Matt was already talking to people about potentially like people that were going to buy Game Informer or
Yeah.
people that were interested in, because I think not to go into the specifics of why we got shut down, because I honestly don't know all of them, but I don't think there was I think there's a consensus that it was like, well, these are, if not talented people, then at least the name Game Informer is a valuable asset that someone could buy. So
It's got some cachet, yeah.
yeah. So Matt was immediately talking to people, and he was like, we've got this group, and we've got this group, and we've got these people, and he was kind of entertaining them all, but was the whole time was like, and this might happen. I just want to keep you guys in the loop. Don't like quit all your other job applications or freelancing
Right.
stuff just in case it works out. Go do other things. And it wasn't until December that it was getting like real enough. And I remember making the decision, like I had been telling my partner about all the updates as they were happening. And then I was like, okay, I'm going to tell my parents like at Christmas. This is going to be like my big Christmas gift to them, is like, your son won't be
You don't have to
unemployed
worry about
soon,
me anymore.
hopefully.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. And then I remember a meeting in early January when we were talking about the deal going through, and I went into the meeting and I thought that it was going to be, hey guys, the deal negotiations have started, and this might be what happens, so these are the things you could prepare for. And then Matt was talking about it with like 95% certainty. I remember being like, so is this like absolutely going to happen? And he's like, I wouldn't say absolutely. There's like a chance it might go through. So I was like, so 95? And he's like, yeah, 95. And I was like, okay, that feels almost absolutely certain to me, but whatever.
Yeah.
And I wasn't privy to the business part of it. It honestly sounded really stressful, so I'm glad I wasn't.
Yeah.
But now we're back.
That's so cool. And
Congrats.
it sounds like everyone has got like kind of raises and their promotions, and that's really exciting. Let's do a quick call to action right now, and we'll do it at the end of the show. But what can people do? They can sign up for stuff now, but kind of pricing stuff TBD.
Yeah, right now you can sign up on the website. It's for free. You get very basic stuff, like you get dark mode, and you get access to. We have a bunch of our magazine archive is there digitally, and I don't think we have all of them, but we have like the last decade or so of Game Informers available digitally if you just make a free account. And then that'll also give us your email. So once we do go in and start the magazine back up, we'll be like, hey, we started the magazine. Do you want one?
Yeah.
Who
Do you want
knows?
one? You want it in your house?
You can
Do you want
have
one?
it.
You don't have to go into a GameStop and be harangued by someone.
If I don't have to
one.
go into a game stop, I don't want it.
That was
If
part
you don't
of
want
the
to have to,
experience.
if you don't want to have to be dragged out, kicking and screaming, by someone rescuing you from having to sign up for a power play or whatever the fuck that was,
Power play.
I don't remember what it was called.
enough.
But no, that's so exciting. We're all so glad it's back, and we're all so glad that everyone involved has a job again. That's really, I think,
Yeah, it's
the
huge.
most exciting thing,
Yeah.
especially right now. So
I'm full time
amazing.
now. I wasn't full time before. I have my coworker Matt the editor in chief Matt pulled me aside and he's like, "Hey Charles, I want you to know, hope you're happy with your pay raise. I hope you're happy full time. Just want you to know that the other two associate editors, we did give them a title change, so they're senior associate editors now." And you just haven't been there as long, so you're just normal associate editor. And he was like trying to like let me down easy, and I was like, bro, I don't.
Dog,
He gave me like 900 things more than I want.
Just put the fries in the bag,
Yeah,
my friends.
seriously.
Oh, Charles, we got to coach you a little bit. You got to play hardball. You should have said, I can't fucking believe you, Matt. I was promised senior associate. No, that's so cool.
I'll call you senior associate
Yeah.
editor.
Okay,
if you
yeah,
want
I
me to.
appreciate that.
You know what? You're our senior associate editor. How
Yeah,
about that?
congrats.
You're-
Whoa.
Congrats.
You work at
Whoa.
3 games websites now.
At the same time. Triple
At the same
wielding.
time. Whoa. All right, let's get right into it because I think it's going to be really the bulk of this episode. It is the Nintendo Switch 2 reveal. There was a Nintendo Direct this week. We got a whole lot of information actually in that hour, and then a bunch of information not in that hour, which was very strategic. We can talk about that as well. Nothing else going around geopolitically that would explain some of these things either.
No.
But let's start with kind of the basics of the Nintendo Switch 2. It's got HDR on the screen. It's an LCD, which we knew. There's a C button. There's all sorts of bullshit, blah, 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 blah. You really only care about the price and when you can get it. It's $449 for the base. It's $500 for the bundle with Mario Kart World. We'll talk about Mario Kart World in a moment. And it's going to be available on June 5th, which is amazing because it'll just be right at the beginning of Summer Game Fest where everyone is fucking traveling and everyone is like scrambling to do something. It's like it's really funny because they did this in 2017 for GDC. Right at GDC, the Switch came out and it was a total clusterfuck. Anyway, whatever. Charles, what did you think about this presentation?
I was excited
Okay.
the whole time.
Okay. And then nothing changed.
I mean, I think I'm a bad person to ask. Just because I was gonna buy a Switch 2, I was like, I don't know, I'm kind of on board. Whatever they do, I'm probably gonna participate at this point. So I honestly, I got a Switch, the original Switch when it came out, and I have a distinct memory of it being like 2018. This was my last semester of high school. So I had the senioritis. I didn't have a ton going on, and I had my Switch, and I was like, God, I cannot find anything to play on this thing. Like, I distinct memory of being bored and depressed, and I'm like, well, at least I have my Switch, and just trying to buy any random thing to make it work. So me seeing this, I was like, yeah, I'm going to get Switch 2, and it's going to be cool for like a week, and then I'm not going to have anything to do. And then they were like, okay, we're going to give you a ton of stuff to do. And now I'm like, oh, okay, I guess now I'm scared because it all costs money. And then I found out it costs a lot of money. So now I'm like, it might not be a lack of things to do, but a lack of money I want to spend on it. But I feel like there's a core here that I am interested in. And then there's a bunch of frills. Like, I made a Blue Sky post recently about the camera, which I think is maybe the funniest part of this whole thing that I just don't... It came so early on, and then they moved past it and were like, let's just forget about it. We'll talk about all the other stuff. And I'm like, that's crazy, though. You're doing Connect 10 years after they stopped doing Connect?
Let's dive into that. I think that's good.
Yeah, so they're releasing there's an extra button on the Joy-Con, right Joy-Con. I watched a lot of the Treehouse today.
That's good.
And the way that they talk makes me upset because they talk the way that like people who work at Apple talk, which is like she kept saying Joy-Con 2.
Oh,
and I was like, you
on.
motherfucker. It's a Joy-Con. They just say or the controller. But she kept saying on Joy-Con 2 and I was like, fuck off. So I lost my train of thought.
So you're watching the tree houses. They're
Talk about the C
probably
button.
going to talk about the C button.
The C button.
Yeah.
There's a new button on the right Joy-Con. Thank you very much. There's a new button on the right Joy-Con too. Where you press it and it opens Discord. Nintendo spent a lot of time and money making Discord. And it seems to work worse than Discord, which is kind of incredible to me because Discord doesn't work very well.
It doesn't work very well, but like my favorite thing is just how with their chests they just showed us this interface of just like the video at the bottom that shares everyone else's stuff is running at like legitimately like 7 frames a second. It's like it's so bad.
And I kind of respect that they didn't. And this is the thing. Dan and Jan were at.
They were in New York.
They were in New York,
okay.
And the group chat stuff was not functional, is my understanding from that preview, which tracks, no reason to. But they didn't even fake it in the video. That is simply one of the easiest things in the whole world to fake. Is they could have just put 4 video feeds exactly pixel to pixel size, as big as they would have been, to be like representative of this is how it. And then just put screen images simulated at the bottom. No one can see it, and it's completely fine. But maybe what they're doing here is that it's going to be bad in this video, so when it runs at 15 frames a second, then everyone's like, well, holy shit, this looks great.
I think they do this. I understand the striving for honesty, and I'm sure there's some laws about like advertising a product they're not going to get, but it is always funny to me when this is kind of a side example, but when they show off like the new Pokemon game and it just looks bad and there's dropped frames in the thing and it's like, you guys didn't even like soup it up for the trailer, like you're showing it us. It looks bad in your you didn't wait, like it's
you could have run this on a fucking 5080, like you didn't have to do this on a Switch that you found on the floor of a Cracker Barrel. You found a Switch, an old Switch, on the floor of a Cracker Barrel. You just picked it up and said, "This is what we're going to demo this shit on." It's crazy.
But it all it is it has voice chat built in now. And it
built
has
into
video
chat. Nikki, real quick.
No,
built into
sure.
where? Because this was my favorite part of the presentation.
that's great.
Where this guy, and if you're watching the video version of this podcast, which I do recommend for this one because we're gonna be sharing some stuff. But this guy is sitting on his couch. He's playing with the Pro controller. He is 8 feet away from the dock next to the TV, and he is essentially yelling at his Switch from across the room.
Upward-facing single slot microphone on the Nintendo Switch. It is going to sound horrible. In the immediate shot afterwards, this guy's roommate turns on the solo blender. And they're like, listen, you're not even going to be able to hear the blender because of the computer. No. It's going to fix it. There's no way I'm excited for it because it is going to sound horrible, just terrible.
It's going to sound so bad.
Is there a world where a directional microphone could work in this way? Yeah, for sure. It is facing 90 degrees in the wrong direction. and always will be. There's just like there's no way to make this work.
Like it could have been next to the C button on the
Yes.
Joy-Con.
No, yeah.
Like it
Put
should
the
have just been
microphone
there.
on the Joy-Con, then
Right.
none of this is a problem.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
on the PlayStation controller. The PlayStation
Yeah.
controller has a microphone in the controller, so when you speak out loud, the bubble that the microphone picks up is close enough to your mouth. It doesn't sound good, but
No.
it is passable for this. This microphone is going to be inside of a TV center or 15 feet away from you are the only options.
I'm just screaming at the idea that this kid has his speakers playing in one direction, a blender in the other, and these fuckers at Nintendo have the audacity to tell you that this idiot's voice is gonna get picked up, and it's like, what is it gonna sound like?
Oh,
It's just like,
yeah.
"Oop, beep, no," because it's gonna eat so much of that
Yes.
extra sound. Because it says it's gonna cancel out stuff that isn't a voice. It's like,
'Cause
well,
it's got it
it's-
has it's the
yeah.
reveal later, which happened today in the
Okay.
treehouse, was that all they did is it just has NVIDIA broadcast at the system level.
right.
And then NVIDIA broadcast stuff is good. Like it's
good.
It's actually good. When given the overhead, it's good. However, it doesn't seem like it's getting a lot of overhead because it's running at about 8 frames a second. It seems like there's a lot of processing happening. It's goofy to me. No one in these videos wears a single headphones.
Yeah.
So
No.
there's just
the guy with the
sound-
blender that's just like he's as inconsiderate as his other roommate. Like
yes.
he's just like, okay, I'm gonna scream at my 3 other friends while we play Switch for a while. Is that all right? Sure. I'm gonna make a fucking smoothie right behind your head. Is that all right? Like this is not a living situation that anyone wants to be in.
It's unpleasant.
The mic also like the mic on the system in these videos is in between the TV speaker and the person talking.
Yes.
So
Mhm.
there's no way that the other people's audio isn't gonna be like
Also-
you're gonna hear Blender and the other person's voice and also your own voice echoing at an infinite loop
Yeah,
until
through
your
the
ears
TV.
start bleeding.
Yes, that's gonna be awesome.
I also yeah, no, never mind.
You had
Oh,
mentioned
no.
you had mentioned the camera,
The
and
camera,
we're
yeah.
showing the camera on the video version now. It is just a single stand, what looks to be kind of like a really standard webcam from about 7 years ago on a stand, and
It's got to be 720p.
It's about
Like
720p.
it has
yeah.
to be 720p. And the thing that because it has NVIDIA broadcast at the system level, it can cut you out on a green screen that isn't real. Like it just cuts
Right.
you out, and then it can overlay you
On the
onto
game.
your video feed, or it will do things like the fucking iToy did on the PlayStation 2, which is put you in the game. And they show it off in
Mario Party,
here it is, Mario Party, where
Jamboree.
you can get a live video feed. Now, this is the only implementation of it where I'm like, this is fun. Except the video is going to be so bad and so choppy and so delayed because it's going through Nintendo's servers
Right.
that it's going to be basically pointless.
But I can't. When they showed this though with Mario Party Jamboree, I was like, well, it would be really fun to see someone's face as at the end of the game, because I haven't played a Mario Party game in forever, so I have to assume that this is something that still happens. You just do that star exchange at the end of
Yes,
every
that's
game
true.
where it's like okay, like for whatever reason, this person stars or now this other person stars. Seeing that face in real time, priceless. Like that's so good. I'm really happy.
Did you
about
see
that.
this one?
I did see this. Nikki is now showing us the Piranha Plant version of the camera, which I am honestly floored they didn't show this one during the video, because it would have been much more charming.
Yeah.
There is something
Yeah.
though more insidious about this because it doesn't
Sure.
necessarily look like a camera. So
No, it doesn't. Yeah, that's true.
So
That's true.
it is kind of like nobody wins. Nobody's gonna buy this. Like I don't know who this is for or what it's gonna be.
I like online was like, who is this for? And I saw someone like, oh, I think kids will like it. They'll like being streamers or something. And I'm like, they have cameras. Every device you own has a camera on it. You don't need to buy a separate worse camera. Like the main
A separate
yeah.
worse camera that can also expose you to your child being in front of a camera to a stranger.
Yeah.
Feels like a non-starter for folks. Especially when it is $1 million.
Yeah, like everything packaged. Like even if you're just getting the console and one game, that's $500. You're gonna spend $50 more to see someone's face when you play Mario Party with them. You can just FaceTime. It'll be fine.
Yeah, and it'll sound better if you just use FaceTime. It feels like such an overcorrection on their part after kind of getting lambasted for them being like, well, just download an app on your phone. And then that's how you do voice chat. It feels like a gross overreaction to that. But also, I think the thing that is interesting to me is that Nintendo seems like they are trying to get off of other people's shit.
Right.
Which I respect and understand. Like, I think the easiest like interpretation of Nintendo today is that they loved Twitter as a company, because I do actually think that they did, because they were big on it. I would actually wager that they were bigger on Twitter and had more of a presence on Twitter than Nintendo or than Sony and Microsoft did/do. And then they have watched that fall apart as not a reliable way to inform people. So they said, fuck it, we'll do it ourselves. We'll just build Nintendo Today. And now they have their
Nintendo
weird calendar
Today, an app. Which is funny, because it's like, I think like 328 days a year will be like, on this day, Daisy wore a slightly different shade of yellow in this game. And then like for like 40 days, it'll be like the new Zelda's coming out, and it's coming out in like 2 days, or like, I mean, just shit that like, is massive, but you have no idea what's what. Anyway.
You don't know. And I think that like, that's the point, right? Like if you download it, they want you to kind of be drip fed on the anticipation of big news. But this is also like, Discord is on the PlayStation, on the PC, on the Xbox. And they, I'm sure, had a meeting with Discord where they were like, hey, we can just put this on here. How's that sound? And Nintendo said, we're okay. We'll build it ourselves. And then they built it themselves.
Now, considering Discord's about to IPO and get a lot worse.
So that's the thinking, right? It's like, I'm sure Nintendo was like, I'm not sure if Discord's going to be around. In 3 years. The Switch 2 will be around in 3 years. Would you rather have they're damned also on the Switch 1 right now. Like the Twitter integration to share clips was huge for the Switch.
It was huge.
Especially through the pandemic. Yeah. And now it doesn't work. And now you have to like do some weird horse shit. So they don't want that. Like they just don't want to do that. So they built it themselves.
Build it beautiful. Charles, any other thoughts on the camera? You had brought up the camera before.
No, I think we got it. I just think it's silly, and I like
so
that they put it like right at the front to kind of like
get
it out of the way. Like everyone making this knew that it's like, this is not the exciting part, but we'll put it at the start where like people are paying really close attention, and then when we need to get their attention back, we'll be like, there's a new Kirby Air Rider game. And it's like, well,
I'm gonna press this button so many fucking times and they get mad.
That's true, actually.
I know.
Fucking sucks,
I know. They even showed this. They even showed this part where it's like, this guy like, he does this thing where he's like laughing with his friends, but he's also like, listen, I have to take a phone call. Like, I have to get off and I have to take a phone call right now. And so he just hits the C button to mute himself, and then he gets on his very important phone call. And I'm just like, I will always fail to do that. I will HIPAA violate myself so bad with 3 Nintendo Switch friends, because I just won't do this, because I'm not used to this at all. I don't know. I don't know why I would use this instead of Discord right now, because I'm already there. I'm already at Discord. I'm already there with people.
There's also the thing of like, if you've ever played a Switch with like kids, and
Yes.
you give them one of the Joy-Cons, and then they find out that that Joy-Con has the home button, so that every 2 seconds when you're playing Smash Bros, they can press the home button and then be like, hey, you didn't get me because you're the home button. That, or they're like spamming the screenshot button just to be annoying.
Yeah.
It'll be that,
Like,
except
please,
just the chat will pop up over and over and over again, and you'll just see your sad face in the Switch 2 camera.
Face. Yeah, I do. Yeah, I don't know. This is a solution to a problem that doesn't exist.
It's a solution to a problem they avoided, kind of, and it was like, that's pretty smart of them to not touch this.
Yes, to not touch it, and then they jumped in head first
Yeah.
into a 3.5 foot deep pool that
Which,
nobody was
like,
asking was them
Which
to
for
jump
this,
into.
but for this year is like thematically appropriate. They
No,
they
for
did
sure.
they did Nintendo's version of Spotify, which doesn't make sense.
Did you know? Sorry.
Yeah.
I actually think that app is a really smart idea, except no one who has ever used it has ever used another music app. When you share a song, there's a big button that says share.
Share.
I did this last night. If you share a song on Nintendo Music, the link that it generates is just a link to the game album, regardless of if you've pulled it from a different playlist within the app. And it does not take you to the specific song that you are asking for. It's like, it's untenable, unshippable to me.
Yeah, that's what I mean, is that, like, I think if these were like expertly crafted, can't miss it, like feats of design and ingenuity, like their games often are, then I would be really happy with it. I mean, like, I like the fact that they made a music app. It's really fucking stupid, but it also like doesn't work in ways it should, and it's also really incomplete in ways that feel very Disney
they
Vault,
can't find
very
all the-
Disney Vault to me.
Where are they going to get all the music from?
Where are they going to get it all? I guess, yeah.
Because they'd have to
Yeah.
ask somebody, and they don't.
Yeah, they're like, we're gonna upload half of Kirby Forgotten Land.
You stupid
Why?
motherfuckers.
Just
they
put
don't,
the
they,
whole
John,
fucking
they don't know
thing
where
up.
the music is. There's nowhere they can go get the music. They can't.
Doug Bowser flushed it down the toilet on accident, and they
This-
can't find any of it.
This is the same thing for me. Not I keep doing segues, but we can come back if you don't want.
No, it's okay. No, Segway's good. This was a vein that we mined.
With the GameCube on the Switch stuff. They're like, hey, you know these Pokemon games that are like hundreds of dollars because they've never been able to find before? It's a thing where it's like, I'm excited, I can play those games. Or there's like a Fire Emblem game that like you'll go to a convention and it's like, here it is, it's $300 because that's the cheapest one you'll find. And it's like, on one hand, I'm like, thank goodness these games are finally accessible and you can play them. But also, it's a problem they created by never re-releasing in any capacity. And also, the solution is pay us forever. If you ever want to play this game, give us money for the rest of time or until we decide to stop supporting the service. Just like, okay, instead of spending, $50 on Wind Waker HD on the Switch version, it'll just be, I'll spend...
And it's so $20 forever, or $10 or whatever forever. The thing that's so nuts and it is so infuriating to me about the GameCube bit. I'm excited for the GameCube stuff. I think this is going to be good. I am excited to play.
Honestly, this is that's kind of my thesis of the entire thing. Of like, I'm really excited. There's also something fundamentally stupid about almost all of it. Anyway,
like
keep going.
when Odama, the first drop I hope is Odama, which is that game where it's pinball except you yell at it. Like, I think that would be great. Because that would be a delightful way to use the microphone. And like put in older Mario Party games. They're not going to do this, but like if they put in old Mario Party games with the microphone stuff, that would be cool. Wind Waker is such a nuts one to fucking celebrate that you have done, because you made the game. It would be different if Wind Waker HD was just a visual.
Was just a straight up port. Right.
They fixed the video game. It
Yes.
was great already, and also the conversation about it was there are literally 20 hours of the game that are bad to play, and it's still incredible. And what they did was they said, you know what, you're right, which is so rare for them. They said, you're
Really
right,
rare.
we will
Yeah.
fix it. And then they fixed it, and then they said, did we though? I don't remember if we did.
We
We
made
can
that, but
only
no
find
one-
the original version of the game right now. Do you want that?
That game must have sucked so bad. No one ever wanted to buy a Wii U, so we'll just go back.
Yeah,
to the
that's
normal
had to have been what
Yeah,
it was.
Also, I
Yeah.
can see on the screen here Mario Sunshine, which is like you can have it on Switch, except only for like 4 months, and then
4
we'll
months.
never
4 months.
sell it again. Yeah, I don't know. It reminds me of in Animal Crossing New Horizons. You start out and you have like one line of inventory space, and it sucks. It's so annoying. You have to
Yes.
like put stuff on the ground to pick stuff up,
Yeah.
and then eventually you're like, I've saved up enough bells to get the backpack, and it's like the game made that problem. They could have given you the backpack the whole time. It's only satisfying because they made an unsatisfying designed thing. That's what a lot of this is, or it's like you made the problem. I'm glad you're solving it, but like, anyways.
It's
Why did
totally
they,
true.
Why'd they put Coliseum after XD? Made me fucking mad.
They forgot it.
Yeah, I don't know.
It does feel like they forgot.
Uh-huh.
It does feel like they forgot. The lineup that they show at the end here is very funny of what's coming soon. It is, first of all, it's cool that you can remap controls because you can't really do that
Yeah.
with
Yeah.
some of the other things, which is great. Super Mario Sunshine, as we just said, really like just one of those like, okay, yeah, you did this like false scarcity bullshit with the HD version of this. And now it's back.
It's not
It's not the HD.
It's not the HD
It's the
version
original.
of the game. And they didn't change anything for that version of the game,
Nope.
but this is it's going to be 4.3.
Yeah. Yeah, it's going to be 4.3, and it's going to look as bad as the original did, which is pretty bad. Fire Emblem, Path of Radiance, Pokemon XD, Super Mario Strikers, Chibi Robo, Plug into Adventure. Oh, fuck me. That
Luigi's
happens.
Mansion, Pokemon
Luigi's
Coliseum
Mansion,
are the
and then
last
Pokemon
two.
Coliseum.
Soul Calibur.
Soul Calibur 2, that's at launch, along with Wind Waker, along with F-Zero GX, which is great. F-Zero GX is a great pull. Soul Calibur 2 is a great game. Like, there's no complaints about like what's going into this. Really, it's just they're also going to sell you a GameCube controller again.
But this one is a Wave Bird, but it's purple.
It's a Wavebird, but it's purple and it's got
And
a
it has
C
the
button
C
on
button
it.
on it.
Yeah, they will sell you. They will sell you a GameCube controller one more
If
time.
only there was another way to get a GameCube controller.
If only. Which is this is just nuts. It's just they're
Also
so funny.
So I will say, I tried to play Paper Mario Thousand Year Door with a GameCube controller, and it's not possible because the GameCube controller that they sold doesn't have a ZL button. And this one does have a ZL button.
This one does.
Now it is the same size as the Switch One top button, which is crazy because they actively are making bigger ZL buttons now.
Yep.
Nobody made them make this button chiclet size, but
It is.
here we are.
So small. They were like, we have to get this so identical to the GameCube form factor. We're gonna make it unpleasant to use. It's such
the,
a strange.
the chunkiest triggers of all time, and then a little grain of rice. for
Great
the ZL
controller.
button.
I think the GameCube controller is all time, but
It's a good controller.
This is
It's a loud
nuts one.
controller.
It is a loud controller.
It is a loud controller.
Yeah.
So good for them. I'm happy.
Good for them.
I'm the team that designed that GameCube controller is probably like, yeah, we fucking ate, dude. We really
We
did.
did it.
We fucking ate.
crushed
They
it.
keep coming to us. They keep saying, "Can you send us that CAD file? We
You
need
know what,
that
guys?
bad boy."
We deserved all the flack we got for the N64 controller that literally cut it in thirds for most games that used it. A third of this thing completely functionally useless. But now we really nailed it. We
went
figured
off.
this one out. Should we talk about some of the games?
Yeah.
So,
Very quickly, I
Yeah.
just want to hit.
yeah.
It's like 98% backwards compatible. There's a couple of games that aren't for physical purposes, so Ring Fit is not going to be backwards compatible. They'll sell you Ring Fit 2. You can play Switch Sports, but
Yes, you
only
can.
if you pair old Joy-Cons to the new Switch.
Right.
You can't play it with Joy-Con 2 because of the one mini game where you play soccer and can kick sometimes. That's it. The whole and it's like, no, just make the game. Just have people put it in their pocket.
Right.
Probably would be a better solution, but because you can't fit the Joy-Con 2 into the leg strap, they aren't going to let you do it. And everybody 1-2 Switch you can't play because whatever the.
Bless you.
That was a violent sneeze.
One more time. Bless you.
Oh, sorry.
You're welcome.
1-2
No,
Switch and
you're good.
everybody 1-2 Switch you can't play because they have IR blaster. IR sensors specific games, but that one you cannot pair old Joy-Con to the new Switch to play this. So
Awesome. But
Awesome.
what about Labo?
no, go fuck
No
yourself.
Labo.
Ah,
No
That's what they say.
Labo.
Yeah, no
I'll
Labo.
go
They'll
fuck
sell
my
you.
Labo.
They'll sell you different trash in a couple of in a year or so. I'm sure.
Labo 2, but it's just plastic.
Yeah, or like it's not even plastic. It's just like it's fucking phloem. They just send you a couple of pails of phloem, and they're like, I don't know, put the Joy-Con 2 in
What's
this.
the Joy-Con 2 in there? Shake it around.
Shake it around. I don't know. Do whatever you
Sing us a
want.
song. We're filming you on your Switch 2 camera. I'm going to blackmail you for money.
So I will say there are compatible peripherals like the old Joy-Con. You can do wirelessly. You're gonna miss some
But
of the
you
new
can't
bells and
charge them
whistles.
on there.
You can't charge them on there
So
because
the-
they
so
simply
the
won't go
logic
on.
is that you have to have in this imaginary world,
Mm-hmm.
which is like I guess that's just how it goes. But like in this world, you have to keep your other Switch plugged in, and then plug the Joy-Con into that Switch
charge that.
charge the Joy-Con so that you can disconnect the Joy-Con so that you can then play them on the Switch too.
That's right.
So
Come on, totally normal way to use
it's
things.
regular
I feel
behavior.
like, you know, and also like the necessity of using the Joy-Con as well. I guess if you like are having a Mario Kart party and like you're 2 Joy-Con and you need 2 more, here's that. Okay, I guess that makes some sense. You can use the old Nintendo Switch Pro controller, but that's going to be missing the 2 back paddles. They did add 2 back paddles
Yes.
onto the new Nintendo Switch 2 Pro controller. Obviously, the Pro controller on the new one's going to have the C button, but it's also got 2 programmable back paddles, very much like an Elite controller, except there are just 2 of them instead of 4. And they also made a point to say, like, an existing control scheme, so it's not like you can put, like, macros on that or anything wild, so whatever, but that's expected. The NES, the SNES, the N64, and the Genesis control pads are all going to be compatible. I'm just telling you that for your reference. There's a whole lot of stuff that's not compatible from the old system, including, and this was one of those, like, I think very minor eye-opening things for me, but like you're going to have to use different SD cards for this thing,
Ugh.
which is annoying.
yeah,
to
but
me.
also like I get it.
I get
one
it.
Where I'm like, oh, like yeah, that's just how that.
I get it.
The Switch is
the march
30
of time.
years old.
It's a really
Yeah,
old thing.
it's
Right,
really
I get
old.
it. I get it. Like it's why you're having to
I-
put these SD, you know, these SSDs into your PlayStation 5. Like that
Yes.
shit is expensive. Now you have to have a more upgraded
And it's
SD card.
also-
So yeah.
It's also why the internal storage has gone up from 32 gigs to 256. Like
That was really funny because I like while we were watching that I was like, yeah, awesome, and then I like was immediately like, but the games are going to be really
games
fucking
are also
big,
gonna
so
be
it's
bigger, yeah.
basically just exactly the same,
But-
probably.
and I'm sure the other part of this conversation, right, is that like, oh, we've done the math, and by the time people fill up the Switch, there aren't going to be enough video games for them, Switch 2 games for them to fill up the Switch with.
Right.
So that by the time holiday comes around, then they will be incentivized to go buy an SD card by the
Right.
end of the year. As
Yep.
I'm sure what the calculus they did there was, but
Yeah,
yeah.
that's pretty funny. All right, let's talk about games. The first one they introduced was the one we already knew about. We now know is Mario Kart World. There's some really interesting things about this one. It's got this open world element to it. I don't know if I would call it open world. I don't know if anyone has really identified that, but
it's
there is a
open world.
free. It is open world. Like
It's like
you
a
can
free
go.
roam mode. I
You
think.
can
It is
drive from one side of the map to the other.
That's my understanding. Yes.
Okay, all right,
From-
because
from
that
what
was
I
lost in
watched on
some of the stuff
Treehouse
yesterday.
today,
Okay.
it seems like you are, and it does actually honestly seem like it's just lobby based. Like it's like
Yeah.
I'm in the game, I invite you to come play. You are also in the world with me. We can go do races. The other thing, obviously, because these Treehouse segments are like they're so scripted and they're so specific.
Yeah.
Is like there's no room, like no one does anything weird, which is to say that no one gets to play the video game. They play act playing the video game.
Right.
So no one did anything weird. No one tried to go too far away. Like it's unclear. Is there a radius that you have to be so far away from the host, which is like some Nintendo bullshit. Like hard to know. But it does seem to be open world. You just get in the zone and all the tracks are also in the world.
Their version of weird would be like, "Hey, did you just hit me with your banana? Good
Yes.
thing I have a mushroom in my inventory to speed away."
Yes. Exactly that.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes.
Did you just do a trick over that ramp? Aw. Jim.
Someone threw a blue shell at me. Guess they're jealous of my
Aw.
racing skills. That was one thing my brother and I were like, we kind of wish they had this on their big string of third-party game reveals. Is I love the Nintendo Direct guide that's like, join Yoshi as he goes on a new adventure, as he hops, jumps, and skips in the air. And then it'll be like a Dark Souls port, and it's like, in a world where the sun is dark and the clouds are gray, embark on an epic adventure. Dark Souls out this fall. Mario's back in the game. Like it just goes back and forth, and I just love that it's like they couldn't get another voice actor to do it. It just has to be like a kid doing his angry face.
Yeah. Meh, meh. I am a person who does really not like Mario Kart in the sense that like I am really fun. I have a lot of fun playing, I don't know, an hour of it with some friends every once in a while. But in terms of like a game that I could really kind of like sink my teeth into and, you know, be a sicko about, it just has not ever really been something I've been super excited about. But like these specific features of open world exploration, of the knockout mode, where basically like you go from a field of 24 to the winner. Like that shit really, really, really excites me. I want to know how y'all are feeling about this game, and if you think it's a step in the right direction.
Charles,
Yeah.
please.
Charles,
The
please.
only Mario Kart release I like remember as like a person who could purchase games was Mario Kart 8, which was when I was 14 years old. And I remember it coming out. and
Unreal how long they've been working on Mario Kart 8. Unbelievable.
Me, like I had played Mario Kart Wii, but like as a kid, I was like, this might as well have existed since the day I was born, because like once I was born, I've been playing games was a thing. So Mario Kart 8 coming out, I was like, oh my gosh, this is amazing! I love this game. It's just a new Mario Kart game, and I was excited about it. I don't really have opinions on a lot of them because they're just like the thing I've always played. So I'm excited to go into this with like a critical mind of sorts, and also like I don't know, I've been playing the same Mario Kart game for 11 years. Give me anything new, and that's like a baseline, and we can go from there. I do think it's really funny the like stupid little characters you can play as in this game. Of
Yes.
like, I was so hyped for Cow, which for the record, I
Cow.
thought they were called
For Cow.
Moo Moos. It's called Moo Moo Meadow. That feels like the kind of thing a
No,
Mario
that's
game
just
would
Cow.
call cows, but it is
That's
just Cow.
Yeah.
But I do like that they were like, I don't know, the last game they were like, wow, who's left in Mario? Can we put Villager from Animal Crossing in? And now
Right.
they're like, oh no, there's a bunch of weird little dudes. Like someone's gonna
Nabbit.
Yeah,
Nabbit's
here.
in there.
Why
Yep.
haven't we gotten Nabbit until now? Yeah, so I'm
It just-
excited.
It does so deeply feel like they are just going to charge you money for non-Nintendo guys or non-Mario guys, which is like
whatever.
whatever.
Yeah.
Like,
Unless
more
like
power to you.
you can play as like Samus and she can just shoot people, then I'll be like, well, I want the gun character.
Yeah, I want the
But other
gun.
than that,
Give me
I
the
think it'll be
gun.
fine.
Give me the gun. It's $80.
Yeah, let's talk
Yeah.
about that. It's $80. That's for the physical
It's 80
version.
American dollars.
For the digital, it's a little bit cheaper, which is an interesting thing that they're doing now.
Is that confirmed?
Is
'Cause
that
I've seen
confirmed?
Is
I
that
don't think
confirmed?
conflicting reports.
I have
Oh,
not seen that
no.
confirmed anywhere. My understanding is that it just costs
Is-
$80.
Is the digital pricing just a Japan only thing? Because that was something that they were reporting.
Oh no,
But
I think
for-
this game's just $80 if you're in America, and
Oh,
$90 if you're
and the
everywhere
rub is that
else.
it's technically $50 if you buy the
correct
bundle.
the bundle
Okay.
the bundle. Yes.
It's 80 American dollars, so that's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, someone had to do it first, and I'm shocked that it was Nintendo.
Yeah. I thought it'd be NBA 2K.
I actually thought, like, for real, Charles, like, I actually thought 2K was going to do a test bubble with not a WWE 2K, but with an NBA 2K, and they would be like, we've rehauled this whole fucking thing. It's $80.
Yeah.
And then they would then be able to have that math to say, okay, is Grand Theft Auto $100?
Right.
But there's no way to, like, the fucking bigwig suits at 2K didn't go into the office, snort 150 lines of coke, and just give each other the coolest hand job high fives you've ever seen. Because they were like, we can charge $100 for Grand Theft Auto now.
Yeah, no. It is weird because Nintendo's like I don't know, they have like the straight-laced persona in
Yeah.
a sense. So them doing it is a like a green light for lots of other companies that are,
Well-
I don't know, maybe more justified. It's also a game, like, the thing that sucks about Grand Theft Auto being $100 is like people will pay it. Like, I think that's
Yes,
what's
Yeah, they will.
frustrating
Right.
is like you make I don't know, a random game people don't care about as much, $100, and it won't sell very well. But when you do it with games that you know are already going to sell well, they'll be like, look, we can make games $100 and it's fine, and then it'll you know become a trend or whatever. and
It
just
will,
get
yes.
Yeah, I mean, the point I brought up on Blue Sky the other day is like, this is the company that needed to do this the least. Like, they don't spend
Yeah.
the kind of money on AAA game dev that
Yeah.
American companies do. They don't have marketing budgets that add literally like $150 million to their stuff. They just have so much kind of institutional goodwill. They obviously spend money on marketing, but like they have so much institutional goodwill and name recognition that like that stuff just is not as expensive. They retain all their employees much longer, so they generally spend less on all of this stuff. And so them doing it is not like an economically necessary thing as something like a 2K or a Grand Theft Auto would kind of lead you to believe it is. So it's like, yeah, it scares the shit out of me that they're like, oh yeah, no, that's just $80.
And that's
yeah.
a number that they know people are going to pay because it's
Yeah,
Mario
yeah.
Kart. And I think, right, like the larger conversation about all of the numbers that we are talking about today is in conversation with the tariffs that are
Yes.
happening in the U.S. because it not only affects it is a two-way street. It does not just affect here in the States; it affects everywhere that interacts with the States. So like, you get into scenarios where you're like, okay, the Switch is $330 in Japan. That's probably Nintendo's making money off of that, but it is so much closer to cost for them that they are making a political statement to
Yes.
everybody else to be like, this is how much it could be, and we are region locking it so that you can't have it. Very specifically, you cannot have it.
It's region lock too.
Which is-
Yes.
Yeah,
so it
yeah,
is-
yeah.
You
The
can't change the
Japanese
language
stuff is
from
region lock.
You can't change the language from Japanese. You can play games from outside, but you cannot play the games that you buy in Japan cannot be played on non-Japanese Switch 2s. So the whole thing, like if you buy a Switch 2 in Japan, you can basically only use it in Japan. Which like, yeah, you should. Not to be crazy.
You know what?
You
We
probably
deserved
should,
it.
Yeah, you probably should be doing that. And then the math that Nintendo did was like, okay, these tariffs are going to come in. They're going to be crazy. They're going to use Chad to figure out what the numbers should be. And then, and then they did.
Multiply the money in my wallet by chairs at my table, and then let's go ahead and just do that for turkey. Turkey, yeah. Turkey, 78% tariffs. Interesting. Okay.
I'm mad actually that Target doesn't buy stuff from my house. Because I go to Target. And
Niki, I'm sorry, right? But we're like a day away from Donald Trump saying something like that on TV. Well, I just don't understand. I just don't understand. Best Buy should be buying electronics from you. That's not a Trump impression. That was more of like a Bernie Sanders impression.
It was Bernie.
It was Bernie.
Best Buy. That
was Bernie. That was Bernie at the Best Buy.
That was Bernie doing Trump, I think.
So they did the math and they said, okay, we don't know exactly what this number is going to be. We do know it's going to be crazy, though.
Right.
The space we have to have people come to us and say, wow, thank you so much, Nintendo. You made it cheaper because you listened to us. Mm-hmm. That goodwill gap is probably about $125.
Probably.
So they said, well, we'll just ship them over now, which is what they've been doing since January. There are at least in January they shipped. Grub was talking about it this morning on Game Breaking News. In January they shipped 350,000 units to the States. And assuming things went well with that shipment, and it seems like they did, they have continued to ship consoles here because they were like, well, they don't like China in America, so we'll move the shit to Vietnam because we make everything else. People make everything else in Vietnam, so it can't be that bad. And then, did anything happen with RE Vietnam yesterday? I'm just gonna really quickly look at my phone.
Yeah, Google America, Vietnam, and see if there's perhaps.
Yeah. Go ahead.
So that's my camera got too hot. I'll turn it back on in a second.
That's all right.
So that's what the number is, right? They saw that there is a gap of uncertainty. They identified the top of that line, and they said, we're just going to put it at the top of the line because it gives us more space to go down if the climate changes. Because people are going to spend the money now. And are they getting flack for it? Like, yeah, absolutely. But it is misplaced.
Oh, it's not. It's not like you don't have to hand it to Nintendo, so I want to be very clear about that.
Yeah, that's not what we're trying to do.
But I also am like, I don't know if they're making a decision that is anything other than reflective of the completely absurd environment that they find themselves in. I do not think that before November 6th or whatever. I don't think this thing was $500 on November 5th. I don't think. I mean, this thing was not going to cost this much.
$350.
Yeah.
Until Election Day, and then it was $500.
You can get mad at Nintendo, and that's fine. I don't really care, but it's like your reasoning for it is misplaced.
I also feel like Mario Kart being, whoa.
Oh, now Charles's camera got too hot.
Oh no! Niki and Charles both have been blinked out of existence. Go ahead, Charles.
I'm gonna say my point, and then I'll swap this camera back.
That's all right. You're good.
I think Mario Kart being $80 is more upsetting than the Switch being $450, and I think it's
I agree.
Weird.
I agree.
I think they could have gotten away with even making the base Switch $500. As crazy as that is, people have been like, man, but it's new. I don't think people have a mind for what new technology might cost. So I think there's a version where that's acceptable. It's the fact that they're gonna be consistently selling you products that might cost more and more and more. Like Mario Kart being $80 is a symbol that they're everything will cost more from now on, potentially.
Yes. 100%.
A console costing more is just maybe a little bit. So it's
Bobby Take-Two or whatever is going to be no. Grand Theft Auto should cost $100. Fucking Mario said it was okay. They are going to be using that. as a justification, even though this is something that we suspect they would have done for a long time.
And also, it's the confluence of like 4 fucking things, and we
Right.
don't have the bandwidth as a people, especially in the U.S., to
No.
have a conversation of it in totality. People see thing more expensive. No one asks why thing more expensive.
Right.
People just say thing more expensive,
More expensive.
bad, has to be the fault of the people giving me thing. And it's like, no, actually, like thing more expensive to make video game now than
Yep.
in past.
Yep.
You don't get paid more than you did in past. Simple. So like you make less money now than you did two years ago. You make less.
You've got a real gripe, but
Yes, like it
there's
is not,
there's
it
another
is-
place to aim it. Yeah.
Yes, it is not with Nintendo, and because this is the body of capitalism, is that like you are so used to consuming and buying that when your relationship to consuming and buying changes, you are mad at the fact that relationship has changed and not at any of the reasons why it is changing.
Bars.
So
Wow, bars.
it just falls apart.
Yeah.
I posted in my the night before, I was like, nobody's gonna be weird about price. Like obviously knowing people were gonna be weird about price, but I still didn't. I knew it was going to be misplaced, but I didn't think I expected it to be this loudly misplaced. Because it is crazy to me that like I love them very much. Aftermath ran an article yesterday that was like
They said like nah or like whatever.
it was like nah, I'm good, and I'm like
yeah,
no,
nah,
for
I'm good.
sure. Like
Yeah.
yes, I understand and respect it. That's not okay. I'm not gonna like if you're like I'm gonna buy a Corolla instead of a fucking Camry. I also too am going to be like nah, I'm good. Like yeah, for sure. That's not the conversation we need to be having. The conversation we need to be having is that like people are reading these websites and people are having these conversations, listening to these podcasts. And the conversations that they are hearing is, wow, it sucks that this thing is $80. But no one is like, well, yeah, it's because XYZ, ABC, DE, and F also, right? Like, I don't know. I'm going to turn my camera on and stop talking.
It's it's like we expect we expect a lot of nuance, I think, from each other when we talk about each other with this stuff. But we often, and I mean this is the royal we, is like, large audiences. Our community on this podcast, like, is obviously they've got their finger on the pulse of this stuff. So it's like, I'm not really talking to them. But like, I want us to start talking about this stuff in a way that begins to educate a larger, broader audience on this stuff instead of just being like shouting into the ether about like, "Bah, it costs $80." It's like, it's like this is a culmination of a bunch of bullshit that, like, if you've been paying attention, this is not a huge surprise, and also it seems sudden because also the circumstances of our own fucking government and economy have drastically changed over the past 2 months.
For so long, changes. And like I mean this in the loosest way.
Yeah.
Because obviously the thing I'm going to say is incorrect, but please just stay with me. For so long, when the United States government makes a change, it doesn't affect you.
Right. Yes.
You know?
Yes.
It affects somebody else, but it doesn't particularly affect you.
Right.
Until it does start to affect you.
Yeah.
You will be gang, in a month and a half, you will go into the grocery store and they won't have mangoes anymore.
Yep. Straight up.
There
Straight
just
up.
won't be mangoes.
They won't be
anymore.
there. Mm-hmm. We have not experienced like there was this is like the most privileged thing I'm about to say. There was a period during the pandemic where Mexican glass importing was stopping me from being able to get boxes of Topo Chico.
Topo Chico, yes.
And I Niki, you would have thought I was like in the rubble of a Haitian earthquake after that. Like you would like I'm just like, dude, this is not the country I grew up in. And I'm just like, wow, like we've really got to check ourselves.
And it's
we're about to get checked pretty fucking hard.
Pretty hard, but then we don't have the royal we.
Yeah.
Have the wherewithal to say, okay, the video game $80 now. But don't have the wherewithal to go, why video game $80 now?
Yep.
It's just stuck at step 1, which is just the anger and not the critical processing required.
Right.
Anyway, Tears of the Kingdom is getting enhanced frame rates. It has
And
ray tracing.
Yeah, folks.
And an app that has GPS.
And an app that has GPS, which is like, what the fuck are you talking
and that's
about?
the thing, right? It's like, yeah, how fucking we're so fucked. We're the
That could
most
have been
cooked
the
we've
whole
ever been.
direct. Is just Tears of the
Yeah.
Kingdom has more frames and a GPS app, and I'd be like, okay, I kind of get the vibe of what's going on here now.
We're so cooked, but they also put a GPS in the Zelda game.
They put the GPS. In
Is the
Zelda game.
GPS only in Breath of the Wild, or is it also in Tears of the Kingdom?
It's in both.
It's in both
It's in
of them.
both.
It's in both
It's in
of them.
both.
Okay.
The only thing that's different is that you can now share your auto build. This is actually
Yes.
cool. Sharing your auto
I'm glad I
build
waited.
stuff between. Yeah, you should be, because frankly, I love Tears of the Kingdom. I'm actually like pretty close to finishing it now. I love this game, but my least favorite part is it's like build a hover bike with just 3 ingredients. But the thing is that you kind of have to build it perfectly. Like you kind of have to like really fucking like look. It's like you have to match up the pixel. Is the fan actually pointing this? It's like fuck. And now I can just download like some idiot blueprint, and I'm like, okay, I don't have to do this.
Toyota's hover bike that they
Yeah,
made
Yep.
for Tears of the Kingdom. It looks
Which
really
is-
good.
It looks really good.
It looks really good.
Like this
They-
with high frame rate was just for the perverts who would spend a lot of time doing emulation and doing a bunch of stuff
Smart
with
people
Yuzu.
like me who waited.
Who waited, yeah. Like I never messed with the Yuzu stuff because once I tried and I was like, nope, too complicated for me. So I never did that stuff. This is basically those versions. They look better. They run really well. So if you, for whatever reason, did not play Breath of the Wild or Tears of the Kingdom or just haven't played them in a while, this seems to be kind of your definitive way in. Which is exciting.
But also, if you haven't played them before, it will be $80.
It will be.
It's $80. It is $80.
You gotta pay
Crucially.
for the game and 20 on top of it.
Crucially, it will be $80.
Yeah, I don't know if maybe just get the Switch One version, but it's
No,
fun.
for sure. It's so insidious. Like it's just insidious. They could have done a first year this shit's free, and then just so you can see what it's doing.
Yeah.
But
They did that.
Not
Nikki,
the
they did that
case.
with Game Chat.
Oh, that's
They
so
did
free.
do- yeah,
You
they
get free
did do that
Can
with
you
Game Chat.
imagine? Is Game Chat going to be an extra on top of NSO?
It can't be. And
No
I'm not
way.
saying that as it won't be. I'm saying it can't.
I'm
I'm
saying
saying,
it
I'm saying
can't be.
I, Charles, can't handle that. I'll get really upset.
The thing I don't understand is they have to roll it in to NSO, and then NSO has to get more expensive because there's not going to be a world where you can just get Game Chat and not have NSO, because then you can't play any games online if you don't have NSO.
Right, yeah.
Yeah,
They
right.
could make it the expansion pack, or maybe they get really weird with it and they add
Who
like a
is this
second
free
expansion
for?
pack.
It's not free. Hold on.
Yeah, who
wait a
is it
minute.
free for?
It's not free for anybody. You have to pay for NSO to play video games online on this Switch.
So is it just it's just if you're playing separately
Separate
from
games?
people, if you and 3 of your closest friends want to get into Breath of the Wild for the first time now, you all spend $80 and say, no, I'm not going to call you. I'm not going to use Discord on my phone.
No.
I'm going to spend $50 on a camera. Yeah.
Give me the piranha so I can not tell people who visit what
That I have a
this
camera
is.
in my
That I
living
have
room
a
pointing
camera
directly at the couch.
in their living room. Yeah,
that's
crazy.
just the couch cam.
That's that's just couch cam. It's interesting.
He just
and you know
watches
what? And
us.
you know what? We're broadcasting. This is my casting couch. This is what this is. And
For
this
me
is
and
what
my
I call
special
it.
internet
It's
friends.
for me and my special internet friends.
Yeah.
The casting couch. Don't Google that.
No, they didn't. The thing that gets me about
Yeah.
about Zelda specifically, and we'll talk about Kirby.
Yeah.
They didn't. All they said was it's in HDR. Great.
Yep.
enhance frame rate and performance.
Yeah. Now, granted, to my eyeballs, this was still
True.
60 when Link was running through the Korok village.
Yes.
Okay.
Which is huge.
Which
but
is
they
huge
went
because it
through
ran at
so
about
much-
12 frames a second in the original. Anyway.
But they went through so much effort to
Yeah.
say it's 1080 for Metroid Prime. They said it's 1080p 120, 1080p
Yes.
120, or 720p 120 handheld, 4K 60 or 1080p 60. Like they went through. They were like, here are the numbers that you want.
Yeah.
But for Zelda, they were like, it's better.
It's like when you get Cheetos and they're like, now with more cheese, and you're like,
Yeah,
what
it's
does
like,
that
huh?
mean?
What do you mean?
Okay.
What are you putting on there before?
Can we
Goldfish
also?
crackers with salt on both sides.
Yeah.
Wow.
They have. They're saying there's gonna be. They're gonna make Pokemon Scarlet and Violet run better.
Yeah,
And
right. Yep.
I would
Yeah, okay.
love to see that. I would love to see what that means. Does that
I
mean
would
it's
love
gonna
to see
be?
that.
Is it gonna be reasonable? Is it gonna be like a normal? Like my partner,
It's gonna
I
run
got her to
at lock
play.
30.
I got her to play Sword and Shield on the Switch. She never played Pokemon growing up because it was a boy game. She finally played Sword and Shield. She was like, wow, I'm actually really into this. Yamper's my favorite Pokemon.
True.
And then I showed her Pokemon Scarlet, which I got an early code for. It was the first code I got at Game Informer. And she was like, this is so ugly. I actually can't. I can't play this ever. Yeah.
I'm amped for it actually because the idea of that game doing no visual updates to it, but having it
but
run
just
at
running
a
better.
locked 60 frames a second is kind of incredible to me. It's like, what if you were actually playing a PlayStation 2 game? You know?
Yeah.
They are so the things that we were talking about are Nintendo Switch 2 editions,
Yes.
which
will largely have paid upgrade packs.
Yes.
For Zelda, those two Zelda games, if you're already paying for Nintendo Online, it is
They're
free,
free.
which is nice. But
For-
no one
quote,
else is
unquote,
doing that. Quote unquote free.
Yeah.
But no one else is doing that. Anyway.
Yeah, and it's because Nintendo's reasoning is that there's no new content in those. So those ones are just if you're paying for NSO, here's what the new thing you have and the games we know you have, they will look better on this. For Kirby, there's a new world. There's new content.
There
in
is new
Kirby.
content. Yeah.
So that one's paid.
There's also, I was going to say the Pokemon ones for Scarlet and Violet are free.
Yes.
But then
Yes,
the new
because
new
those
Pokemon.
ones-
well, they're just enhanced. They're not a
Yeah,
a
not a
Nintendo Switch 2
edition.
version.
update. Yeah,
Right.
correct.
Yeah,
correct.
Yes, because it's like the 360 emulation
Yes.
situation where some of the games are just like they're running now, and then some of them are like we went in and we like the game like Mirror's Edge. Like Mirror's Edge runs on the 360 normal, but on backwards compatible is like runs at 60 frames a second and has a HDR. Like they went in and they
Right.
did stuff to it. That's what they're going to do to Scarlet and Violet. And for ZA, it's a Nintendo Switch 2 edition, so you will
Yeah.
pay more money to get that extra stuff. So
Yeah.
there are 3 tiers of video game now on the Switch 2, which
Yeah.
is not confusing at all to anybody.
Not confusing at all. The Metroid 4 Prime Beyond. Jesus
You want to
Christ.
take that one again? Jordan,
Yeah,
cut that out.
sure. Cut that out, Jordan. The Metroid Prime 4 Beyond Nintendo Switch 2 edition will actually go up to 120 FPS at 1080, which is pretty cool. 60 FPS, 4K HDR. You can also, and this is a good segue, use mouse controls with the Metroid game, meaning you can essentially just use, first-person shooter. You have a joystick in your left hand, Joy-Con. You're using your right hand or left hand. I guess you could just do either one with the mouse, which I have seen some people play today in their preview
It
event
is
stuff, and it's
Kind
interesting.
of cool. You
It's
don't
cool.
have to tell the game you're going to do it.
No, it
You
just
just do
once
it.
you tilt it and do it, it'll just switch to that control, which is pretty cool.
Which is nice. So in the treehouse, the guy that was demoing it also like get good at the fuck. Not to be crazy,
I know, right?
but like holy shit.
Maybe
Wow.
play it for
Metroid
5
Prime
minutes
4
before
Beyond
you.
is a challenging adventure. I'm really being pushed to my limits here. Let me grab a health pack. That'll restore my HP. Back in fighting shape.
That's so true, Charles.
Fighting shape. Yep.
Yeah, you can just tilt it over and do it like you said. I don't know how I feel about analog stick in one hand and mouse control in the other. That feels whack to me. And also, what world? Where am I playing this video game this way?
Yeah.
Like,
You're
where in my
sitting
house
at
am I
a
playing the
desk?
video game this way?
You are well, one, because we'll get to this when we talk about the very surprising wheelchair basketball game that's coming out for this. Which we'll get to that. Well, one, you don't have to do this on a flat surface. You could do this on your pants. Patrick Klepek this morning wrote a blog about the fact that he's basically just played drag drive, which is the wheelchair basketball game,
Just
on
on
his
his
pants.
legs.
On his legs, and he wondered aloud how many people had torn up their pants playing it this way. And it's like, so you can use really any surface. The question I have is, why would you?
Yeah,
You really
why?
need because right now I'm sitting here. I've got a big mouse pad. I'm in front of 2 monitors. I sometimes play games on this monitor hooked up to a capture device. But most of the time I'm playing games on a larger monitor that is over here.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to be playing a clicky game like that.
No.
I don't think.
Also, it's like you can't say, well, it's a first-person shooter. We're letting you use a mouse.
Yeah.
Also, the surface on which you're using it is not a right angle.
Mm-hmm. No.
It's round.
It's fully round.
It's completely
Hey, friends,
round.
don't know if you've looked at your thigh lately or anyone's thigh. They're pretty round.
It's just
rare that they're
round.
not. Yeah.
So it is cool. I just don't know where I'm going to use it if not on a fucking Alaska flight. And I pop the tray table down.
Pop
which
the
is
tray table
only-
down. That's
the
about
only
it.
correct distance that there is to make that happen in tabletop mode.
Yeah.
Dan,
go ahead, Dan. Yeah.
Dan tried to get the straps off, and it took him.
Of course he did.
It took him. No. They were on his arm because they made him put them on his arm, and it took 2 minutes and multiple Nintendo employees to get him out of it.
Why?
Wait,
Why?
Was this a him
Unclear.
thing?
I don't have any other details. That's all I have. That's what I
incredible.
was told and what I'm sharing with you.
I mean, listen, I'm not saying that's Dan's fault, but it's also the least surprising person
Surprising thing.
Yeah, no.
that this happened to.
I'll I'll see a Blue Sky post and it's like, hey, we taught Dan how to pronounce the word cheddar today. And I'm just like, that's a weird thing. He's like, I don't know. I've never had cheddar before. Sue me. Like, he gets all defensive about it.
It's true. That's true. He do be like that.
We taught Dan Reichert how to brush this morning. He said he'd never done it before.
This game, the last thing on Metroid, it looks like Halo.
It
In
does
a way
look
that,
like Halo.
in a way that it did not used to look like Halo. Like the Metroid
Right.
Prime games did not used to look like Halo. And I guess I can't tell if the Halo games look more like Metroid Prime or if the Metroid Prime games now look more like Halo. But like there are so many Forerunner ass like installation looking things
Yes.
in this game where I'm like, they made a Halo game, which like,
Yep.
okay, sure. Best
Yeah.
of luck. A Halo with scanning sounds nice.
Yeah, Halo scanning sounds kind of cool. No, these Metroid Prime games are great. I really love them. I am excited for this. I'm definitely excited for the Switch 2 version, which like does like legitimately look like a much bigger improvement in terms of visual
Oh, it looks
quality.
great.
Looks
No,
really,
this
really
video
good.
game looks good.
Looks really good.
Yeah.
That's the other thing, just generally, and we'll get to I think the biggest showcase of the visuals in a bit, which is the new Donkey
Dragon
Kong
Drive.
game. But like,
Dragon Drive, yeah.
let's talk about Dragon Drive. But I think generally one of those things that like the jump from Wii U to Switch in terms of visual fidelity, not very big.
Yeah, for sure.
And this was the first moment where I was like, oh, we've really gone past the Wii U
Yes.
generation here,
And it's
into
and
something
it's
that looks
not-
much more cohesive and good.
Yeah, and it's not even clarity; it's density.
It's density,
Is what it is.
Yes.
Because you had to spend so many resources to get it to run okay, which on the Switch increasingly they stopped being able to do because there's a calculator processor in there. But like now they have a PlayStation 4 in there, and the screen's small, and there's a PlayStation 4, and we have figured out with DLSS and FSR, like all of these like AI in the non-generative sense, like ways to make video games look good. Like no, like these things look great now.
They look really good. I joked when they started to first show the mice stuff. I was like, "Oh, it'd be sick if you could play a game with like 2 mice, the forbidden configuration." And I was like, "But that won't be a thing." And sure enough, they showed us a trailer for a game called Drag and Drive, which is
fucking terrible.
Which is a wheelchair basketball game. I'll say it, emotional when I saw that this existed, but then also kind of like, and this is a twofold thing, and I want to be very clear. The functionality of taking both of your hands and putting them flat on the table like 2 mice and moving them like you're moving a wheelchair, awkward, should never happen. No one should have allowed these people to do this thing.
I'm doing it right now.
It just is horrible. The game looks like a tech demo from, like, it looks like if like Toonami Tom made a game. It looks like if it looks like a trailer, like a fake trailer from the first like year of G4 TV. Like it looks very fake. It looks like a game from House MD. I can keep going.
It looks like a game they'd be playing competitively in Drake and Josh. They get really into it.
Game Sphere.
Yeah, the Game Sphere. Yeah. Fuck. God. Yeah. Exactly. So, but it is a 3-on-3 wheelchair basketball game where you are moving your both hands to the rhythm of a wheelchair user on both rims, moving back and forth, turning by going forward and backward, all this stuff. All the while, you're also like passing a ball, shooting a ball, dunking a ball, all this other stuff. The actual motion of this seems dizzying and difficult, but also it's very funny because this is about how fucking annoying it is to do anything in a wheelchair too. So there's something really sadistic about it in the sense of like, this looks unpleasant, and I'm like, good, that's the point.
Yeah,
Sure.
it is.
The sad thing though is that the more I think about this, I'm like, I don't know what the audience is for this. I really, really, truly don't. It's for me to like, I will like, here's the one thing I know. I will fucking kill everyone at this game.
No,
I will
for
be,
sure. You'll be
so
really
good. I watched like a row of people
Esports.
play it today, and I was like, this is going to be fun. But I will like literally be the only person who plays this after like, I think 2 weeks, it feels like.
Can we right now, all 3 of us?
Yes.
We need to line in the sand. I was off by 1 day with my prediction on what day the Switch came out, which is upsetting to me. I'm sorry to myself.
I'm sorry. We need to apologize. Put it in the notes app.
How much this one?
How much is this game?
How much this one?
Ooh.
Because it could be gang. It could be anything.
It could be anything.
It
Now
could
We
be
know
anything.
the ceiling is 80
We
American.
know the
dollars.
ceiling is 80.
They can't.
Do we?
Though, right?
Do we know the ceiling
Is this a
There
launch
is-
game?
It comes out. No, it's not. It
No.
just says summer 2025.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming that means after Donkey Kong.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
I
Because that would give them. I'm assuming after Donkey Kong, because that would give Nintendo a first-party release in the first 3 months, every month for the first 3 months.
I think it'll be $39.99.
think it'll be
Christ.
$49.99 And I think it'll have 3 modes. One of them will be borderline unplayable. One will be like the main mode, and then one will be some that like sickos are really into. And then they'll like advertise it having a bunch of features that's really just like you can listen to the music and customize the ball color. But no, I'm feeling this feels like a Switch Sports to me. I guess is my thing of like.
No, but the thing about Switch Sports is that it's good.
Okay.
Isn't not as good as Wii Sports or Resort.
No.
That, but
I was like, I don't need to have this
to
conversation right now. Yeah.
No, but there's more to do in these, and that's why I'm going to say $1.
You don't know your Price is Right rules. You just think it'll be okay.
I was gonna say $49.99 because I do think this is a $39.99 game that they will add $10 onto because that's what they're doing. But I'm gonna say $1.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll see. All right. We have our
what if it's
guesses
free to play?
in. I think it'd be smart. I don't know who is playing this enough to engage with it with all the aesthetics and stuff that they would need to buy to make the money back. I think you kind of have to have that.
What
large
money,
audience.
John? They didn't spend. What money? This game looks horrible. They didn't spend any money on this. Is like Unity asset flip.
It was the fact too that they didn't even like have a fake second map to show in the reveal.
I know. It's all this like
aliens.
industrial thing. It's like, we got all these disabled fuckers into the pit. Welcome to the pit. There's no joy in future crippledom. No, you're in the pit. And the pit is where you'll stay. Because we won't let you out into the big city, Crippies. There's nothing out for you out there. Can they walk?
In the lore, can they walk, or do you think they are forever wheelchair bound? Do you think the part of the sport is that they get in the chair? Because I'm envisioning a delightful world where they put emotes in the game, and one of the emotes gets the person out of the chair, and you floss, and then you get back in the chair for the next round.
All I want is Niki, I hope that's true, but all I want is there for be an accompanying one where someone who can't walk attempts to get up and floss, and then they fall over. That's all I need. So like the windscreen is like you doing the floss, and then it's me getting up and then falling over, and this kind of looking up at you and waving. Like that's what I want from this game. I don't know. Like the thing that makes me feel like this is DOA is
all of it.
It's the fact that like there is none of that kind of like. You're going to be doing more than playing these games. There's no customization. There's no other environments. This feels more like a tech demo than a full-fledged video game. But we already do know, and we don't have to spend a nanosecond on this beyond this, we do know that they are going to charge for literally their tech demo, which is the instructions. It could be a PDF. It's not even a
tech demo. It's the instructions.
Right.
That's crazy.
That was the funniest thing. What is that called again? It's called
Nintendo
Welcome Tour, which is a little. Some people initially were like, "Oh, it's kind of like Astrobot." It's not. It is an interactive PDF, essentially.
It is that Aperture Science thing. But worse for the for the Steam Deck, but worse.
Right.
I think this is going to be $5, which is insulting that it's going to be $5.
It's going to cost anything, right?
I do think it's going to be like $5.
Oh, I never. Hold on, folks. I never caught this the first time. The little avatar guy is going to run to the edge of this thing and want to go read these little question mark billboards, and it just cuts. Like they did not figure out a way to put this man in front of those things, so they had to cut it. That's very funny to me. Okay, anyway, sorry.
There's
incredible. No jump button.
There's no jump.
There's no jump button.
Do you get back up? You have to run at the ledge, and then it teleports you up. Probably.
It teleports you up, probably. But what they showed in this is just like, where are the magnets? How do they work? Like it's literally the fucking. Juggalo song about magnets.
Song.
It's
I don't, they'll get away with it until someone says they can't. That's all it is.
And I know this is not the same thing at all. Did
Right.
1-2 Switch sell well?
It sold enough to have them make a sequel.
That's what
So,
I was.
yes,
That's what
because-
fascinated me about it, because I remember people being like, "It's crazy you have to pay for this, and also it's not that fun." So this being, I was like, were they encouraged to do this? Like, whose idea was it? And then also the charge for it.
I think they had to have sold a lot of copies of 1-2 Switch. I guess I don't actually think it's. They tell you. They had to have sold a lot of copies of that game because there was nothing else.
Sure.
It was Zelda, and that was the other Nintendo
Like
game.
snipper
so, like,
clips, but
Everyone,
yeah.
Snipper
There
clip,
was
yes.
so little out for Nintendo Switch in that first like month. It was crazy.
1-2 Switch sold.
Yeah, there was very, very, very little. Yeah, but this is a paid welcome tour to what the Nintendo Switch 2 can do and all of its little bips and bops and blah 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 blah. So
3.
that's fine.
2 million copies as of 2023, which was 5 years after the game came out. That's crazy.
That's not nothing.
Do you know how hard it is to sell 3 million copies of a video game?
Seriously.
That's really hard.
1-2 Switch sold better than Metroid Dread, than New Pokemon Snap, than
That's
Xenoblade
crazy.
Chronicles 2. It
Metroid
sold
Dread
about
hurt
the
me.
same as Legend of Zelda Echoes of Wisdom.
Oh,
But that's
It
after
sold
that's,
more
that
than-
one just
it
came
sold-
out though.
That
one
one
just
did
came
just
out.
come out. It sold.
Yep.
That sold. Okay, so 39 is Echoes of Wisdom, 3.9. 1-2 Switch is 3.74. It outsold Pikmin 4 at 3.48. There are more people on
That's
this
tough.
planet who have played 1-2 Switch than Pikmin 4, an
That's tough.
all-time great video game.
that's tough. That's hard. It's hard to really gather myself listening to that. But Nintendo magic, you know? Sometimes it just happens. This welcome
It
tour is
sold-
gonna sell 10 million copies. Just watch.
It sold more than Bayonetta 1 and 2 did on the Switch.
That
And
one
Bayonetta
does.
3.
That one doesn't surprise me that much.
I played that was one of the games I was like, I gotta play something on Switch. Oh, there's Bayonetta. Played Bayonetta 1 on my Switch in study hall in high school, and my teacher came over who's like he was like early 30s, came over, and there's a lot of awful animations
lot.
in that game.
Uh-huh.
Came over mid one of them, and I was like, oh hey, and he was like, is this Bayonetta? And I was like, yeah.
Oh.
And he was like, I hated that game. And I was like, oh, you played it? And he's like, yeah, I beat it. And I was like, wait, what? And he walked away. I never got more context on it. So I was like, so you played it? Your disapproval was that you don't like Bayonetta, and also you weren't like, hey, you can't be playing this in a school.
No,
He
no.
just I think he was too embarrassed that I was like
Probably.
reading into the fact that he played Bayonetta all the way. Anyways.
That's really funny. Let's go on a third-party tour real quick. Elden Ring Tarnished Edition coming to Switch 2. Totally not surprising. Not sure if there's anything else to say about that.
They're going to put some Zelda bullshit in it like they did for Skyrim.
They'll put some Zelda bullshit in that, which is kind of fun. Which, yeah, absolutely. Totally agree. Hades 2 coming out for Switch
That's a
2.
big one.
That's a big one. Not surprising, but also super great. And
if you
love
guys
that
want a
stuff.
full list of all the third-party games that are coming to Nintendo Switch 2 that were announced,
I
in the
go somewhere?
Directs, you could go to GameInformer.com, and I heard this
Wow.
writer Charles Harte, he put a list together.
Whoa! You put a
Whoa.
list together on
Pretty
GameInformer.com?
They were Elden Ring popped up, and we like assigned the stories as they're coming. I was like, all right, Charles, just do a roundup of all the third-party games. So I was like, cool, I'll do that real quick.
Cool.
And then it just
Bet.
kept going and kept going, and then
Yeah,
they paused.
there's
they're
a
like,
lot.
All right, here's 15 more. And I was like, fuck. Anyways.
Yeah. Not only is that there, but the game release calendar that like 95% of us
No,
ever
dude.
use to
Oh, yeah.
to do stuff. That's back up, thank God.
Amped your back.
It's so exciting. The Street Fighter 6 is getting Fighters Edition, which is basically a compilation of all the first 2 years of content for Street Fighter 6, which is like 26 characters, blah 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 blah.
Amiibo.
Street Fighter 6 is great. They're going to have Amiibo for that stuff. Great, cool.
They're and those ones $10 more expensive than the other Amiibo.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know why. I think that I can't tell
either.
if that's just Capcom being like we want more on this one, and Nintendo saying, oh, okay, they'll pay whatever. But interestingly, they're just $10 more.
Daemon X Machina Titanic Scion. That's a big anime mech bullshit thing. Looks fine. There's a dog in it. Very little to say about that, but that's coming out in September. This game, I almost said It Takes Two. I did say It Takes Two. Split Fiction.
Yes.
Also coming out for this for Nintendo Switch 2. It's going to look worse than the other versions.
Yeah, no, there's not. You couldn't pay me money to play this game on the.
It's going to be pretty framey.
You could pay me money. I'd review this with. I would do that as my job professionally.
Okay, fine.
Okay.
Charles and I
Charles
are going
has
to do
got
it.
it.
We're both going to do it. Charles, we're going to play the whole game tabletop.
I'll fly
At
out. We'll
HGS.
each use one Joy-Con.
Yeah, that's the way that
That's
they want you
the
to
stuff.
play it.
Maybe one of my favorite things that I do legitimately think is strange and should make everyone go, is that EA Sports' big announcement is that FC and Madden will be there, but not college football, which I think is really odd.
Weird.
I don't know why that is happening. I don't know if it's a thing where they just thought there was less cachet to put it in this announcement. I think that's what it is, but it is odd that they would skip what was their by far most successful kind of like new entry in like decades in the sports world. So
I think people who don't live in America know what Madden is,
But
and
they don't
think
know what
they
college
know what
football
college
is.
football is.
that's probably true.
I think it's that simple. They would be silly to not put out college football this year on the Switch too. Like that's
Yeah, they
just
would.
that's easy money.
watching a
Then
clip
for
of,
me, well, no, for me in my house, the screen went black for a little bit.
It did go. Well, you know what?
Well,
we can't joke
you
about that
can't
too
joke
much
about that,
because
yeah.
it literally did do that
It did
for
great.
some of the people in this showcase, and we'll get to them. But yeah, it did go blank for me. It's weird. They're gonna do Tony Hawk 3 and 4 on this thing. Sure.
SpongeBob, shut the fuck up. They're putting SpongeBob in it.
SpongeBob in Tony Hawk.
SpongeBob coming Tony Hawk. SpongeBob.
Tony Hawk. SpongeBob. Cool thing is that assassin.
Yeah.
Assassin's Man.
No, welcome to my brand new game, Assassin. World of Assassination. Assassin 2 and Assassin 3.
Well, welcome to my wonderful world of assassination. So Hitman World of Assassination is coming, and they are putting like Mario and Luigi bullshit in this, which is
Great.
As
very
they should.
fun. The problem with this is that this game is going to run at about 20 frames per second on the Switch 2, it looks like to me. But if you can deal with that.
Any of these are like cloud games and they just haven't told us yet?
No, because I think legally
I don't
they
think
have
so.
to tell you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
There
Yeah.
are not very many consumer protections, but they made such a fucking stink about Bravely Default ? Is not a real
Yes.
game when you buy it, and there's so much there's not like enough time to talk about it. The
No.
game cases for this console are vile. Like
Yeah, they're not good.
they are horrible to look at. Just cluttered.
They're really
And
cluttered. Yeah.
it feels like they weren't really trying. Like it feels like I made them. Like it just feels like they threw them together and like we think a video game case looks like this. I don't know. But if they were cloud games, they I think would be very loud about them being cloud games.
Yeah. But yeah, there's a Bravely Default remaster coming out. Yakuza 0 Director's Cut, which is so infuriating because now they're going to convince people
they're
that this is
adding
going to be
stuff.
some definitive edition, and it's like, okay, now I got to play all the Yakuza games again. They're making a new Muso game. Tecmo Koei is for the Tears of the Kingdom, imprisoning war stuff.
Yeah, it's a prequel. So did you?
Yep.
Did either of you play the last one, Age of Calamity?
No, ran like
I
shit.
maybe played the demo, but I didn't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wanted to play that game so badly, but to your point, John, ran so
It ran
poorly.
real poorly.
They've burned me. I'm not going to try again, but I think
that's
this one
fair.
I think this one will run
It'll
better.
run better. It'll run better. I don't think
So-
I don't think it'll run great, but it'll run better. Then we're getting Deltarune chapters 1 through 4. Anyone played chapters 1 and 2 yet of this game? I have not played it.
No, I was too stupid to understand what
Undertale?
Deltarune was.
Oh,
No.
okay.
Oh.
I knew that it was the game from the team that made
Mm-hmm.
Undertale, but it wasn't until I watched this trailer that I
You're
was
like,
like,
oh,
oh,
Did you know
Oh.
that?
it's just more Undertale.
Did you know that Deltarune is a what's the word? Anagram of the word
anagram.
Undertale.
Fuck, dude. No,
It's
like
just the same
actually, I
letters.
didn't. I
Yeah, it
literally
is.
didn't. I literally
Yeah.
no, did not.
Yep.
I did not. So yes, I will. I Undertale is one of those ones that you have to be quiet about liking. So I'll
Yeah,
get
yeah,
out
yeah.
and say it. I liked Undertale a lot, and that's all I'll say.
Ugh.
I like Undertale, and I feel normal about Sans.
I feel
I
totally normal.
There's a checkbox. I played Undertale. Check. I liked Undertale. Check. I have never drawn a picture of Sans.
Correct. That's me. And then John, the screen went
Fuck
black
me.
again, which was scary.
Screen went black again, which was really, really stinky. Then they're making Civ 4, and they're putting it's the Civ 4.
Civ 4,
7.
finally.
Sean, I don't know if you can read anymore. I think we gotta come up with a different
They're
solution
putting
here.
they're putting Sim Ant on Switch 2. That's crazy. I can't believe it. Welcome to Assassin. Civ 7, WWE 2K, and NBA 2K. They did not. I swear this means something. They did not say whether or not the NBA 2K games on Switch 2 will be the current gen editions of
They probably
those
won't be.
games. They probably won't or will,
I will not. I assume it will be the PC version of the game.
which is crazy
Yeah.
because it doesn't have most of the features. It doesn't have a lot of the physics stuff. It's wild. So
I
that's
think-
still
I
not a
think-
box you should play those games on, I don't think.
Yeah. It feels
Yeah.
to me, my understanding is that this thing is going to come out this year. There will be versions of these games this year. But if I had to wager money, next year the games will be the sports games will be the real versions of the games.
Yeah, that might make sense.
At Nintendo's kind of behest and request.
Now here is where the
stream died.
US stream did die. We don't have enough time to dive into like how weird that was because that was very strange. It got desynced for audio about
Yeah.
2 minutes in,
Yes.
and then it just stopped working about 45 minutes in and just stayed that way. People in the US missed a string of games. One called Survival Kids, which is like
It's an old Konami game.
Konami.
it's a
yeah.
Konami game, but it's just like it's such a bad name. Enter the Gungeon 2 is coming out. We have to say that our good friend Lotus, who will be on the show next week, is working on Star Seeker, which is an Astroneer multiplayer game. That was just totally gobbled up by the technical difficulties, so you should go check that out. But if you liked Astroneer, this seems like a cool follow-up to that. And yada, yada, yada. There's Final Fantasy VII remake stuff. Cyberpunk, there's a definitive edition for that. It's not going
Can
to run
you
very
fucking
well.
Imagine?
Nope.
It's that's $70 I saw today.
Yep,
Like,
$70.
Can you not to be crazy? And we're about to listen. There are people close to us who are doing a critical reappraisal of this game again in the year of like
Yeah,
2025.
they spent 3 human hours on it. You go listen to it now.
We can't.
Yeah.
However, why would you spend $70 American on this video game when you could not do that?
Well, it's the ultimate
instead.
edition. Sorry, it's,
It's the ultimate edition.
So it's got, it's
It's the
got-
ultimate edition. It's the ultimate edition.
so
I
the
missed
whole
that.
game is in it.
It's the ultimate. It's the whole thing.
Okay. Is
And
it
you
good?
got it all.
How am I going to see a video game with Idris Elba and Keanu Reeves? Watch Sonic the Hedgehog 3? No, thank you.
No thanks. And then
2
let's
Point Hospital. Nope.
2 Point Hospital.
Museum.
Wait,
Not
we do have to.
hospital.
We do have to talk about the fucking 5-second Silk song was on screen, and they go
God, that
Yeah.
was
2025. I'm like, guys, that's again.
That game's never coming out.
I don't care. I don't
I
care if
think
they had a year on the screen. It's not coming out.
I think it'll come out.
No.
I think it comes out.
No
this
way.
year.
No way.
I think it has been in too much shit publicly for it to not come out. I think is how I feel.
It would be way funnier if it didn't, though.
I hope it doesn't,
It'd be way funnier.
but I think it will.
I hope it does.
I hope it doesn't.
The idea of the game is not coming out is funnier than my desire to actually play it.
Yeah, that's entirely correct.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
you are correct.
Well, it's
let's
fun
talk-
though because every year we make a most anticipated list. I have a free.
You get to
I
put
just
Spoon
Silk
Heaven.
Song on
That's
every
free.
year. Yeah.
It's free. All right, let's talk about maybe the biggest surprise from the show, which is the Duskbloods, a FromSoft multiplayer spiritual sequel to Bloodborne, which is a Nintendo Switch 2 exclusive.
Crazy.
Absolutely insane.
I posted this on Blue Sky, but like, well let me get the full. Keep going.
I tabbed this as a FromSoft game almost immediately, and I was like, but it's not Bloodborne 2 because I knew the rights for that would be very, confused. That something wild would have had to have happened
Yeah.
to do this. But then they show the big clock tower, and I was like, well,
Yeah.
what is this?
Yeah.
And it never really got clearer until pretty much the end of the trailer.
Because when we were doing our talk over, we thought for a little bit that they've been bandying about a 3D Castlevania game for a really long time.
Yes.
So
yes.
we were all like, "Oh, this is that."
Yeah.
And then the FromSoft logo came on the screen. The quote is 8-player PvPvE FromSoft game exclusive to the Nintendo Switch 2.
Which is crazy. It's crazy.
Oh, they got
it's,
fucking Rocket Man in this game for
Yeah.
the
It's-
Disney movie is here.
It's crazy in a lot of ways. One, because FromSoft themselves made We Have Bloodborne at home. Like it's
Yes.
such,
Yeah.
it's so weird. It's like, I want Bloodborne. We have Bloodborne at home, and it's like, mask off. I'm still FromSoft,
Yeah,
and
it's
I
still me
made
the
it.
whole time.
But I will say I am one of those people that's like frankly, the more I learn about this game, the less I'm interested. But
Oh,
'cause
I'm the
this
opposite.
This
because
is not
it
what
makes
I want.
sickos mad. Like the thing, I don't like these games. I really
Sure,
like.
I know you
Elden Ring.
don't. Right.
Every time they're like, and this one is not for you in this specific way. I say that's yummy to me. Yummy, yummy, yummy. This seems like my read on this, having watched this trailer like 4 times. I think this is a class-based extraction shooter.
Yes. Yes.
Not
I think
shooter,
you're right.
like shooter.
Yeah, I
is
know what
not
you
the
mean.
word that I mean.
Right.
It's a shooter. It's like a class-based extraction Dark Souls.
Yes.
All of these guys seem to be. These are the classes that you can pick, and I'm sure they will have their own trees, and you'll be able to customize them. But the base classes are going to be this.
They seem to have very specific characters, like in Night Rain, which is
Yes.
interesting that these two things are kind of existing side by side. At
Yeah,
once.
it's fuck around. They made so much money off of Elden Ring. They are in fuck around and try stuff mode, which
Yeah.
I actually think that is how it should go. They have proven
Oh,
that
totally.
they can do the
Yeah.
they've proven that they can do the right thing. If they choose to make an Elden Ring 2, they can sit down and will make Elden Ring 2, but now they are in a butter zone where they've made more money than God, so they can just make whatever the fuck they want, and they're making 2 weird whack games. Which I appreciate.
I definitely appreciate it. Charles, what's your take on this one?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm probably not gonna play. I mean, I'll probably try it, but FromSoft game, I'm the same way with like the more I hear about it, the less I'm interested. FromSoft game, sure, I'm down. I'll try that out. Multiplayer, PvP, Switch exclusive. I don't really want to play it on Switch. I'm just really glad that I finally have an opportunity to use the new game chat system, which I can use to converse with up to 3 of my friends while we're playing an online game together. I do think it'd be funny to have the little faces next to your characters the way they do in Mario Party, but in this game, just watching people get really intense about their swords against you.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, this was the biggest surprise of the show, I think, because I was fully expecting Elden Ring, and I was like, great, sure, like that'll be here, awesome. But a spiritual follow-up to Bloodborne that is just an Nintendo Switch 2 exclusive is just so bizarre to me.
I don't know if it'll be good, but I feel like it's a game that like 7 years from now we'll be like, can you guys remember the Duskbloods?
Dude,
Wasn't that so weird? Like that's the
Yeah.
that kind of Nintendo game.
Yeah, which is neat, and I'm with Niki that I do think like to be in fuck around and try stuff mode is like one of the most beautiful places a studio can be. And so I don't wish them to stop. It's just not for me what I want.
Yeah. But the ideas that they are having in this will be for you when they put them in Elden Ring too.
Yes.
And like, and I think that is the thing that like, I said this when I got back from GDC, but like that's a show about process, and so much of process is so rare. We get to see studios make these incremental steps as loudly as you can sometimes when you have an enormous success and then have space to try stuff afterwards.
Right.
Like, I don't know. That's kind of what the Madden games used to be, right? Like these annual releases, like used to be, we're trying stuff all the time, and then sometimes it sticks and sometimes it doesn't.
Sometimes it doesn't. Yeah.
And
in Madden 06, which was after the best one they ever made, they were like, what if we just had a little dot that you move around and that's where you throw the ball, and you have to make that choice within, I don't know, the 3 seconds you have before you get obliterated by the defense. And at no point during testing did anyone go like, this is one of the worst things I've ever like experienced. And they just like shipped it. And you know what? Like,
that's awesome.
It's one of those things where they were like, well, all of our testers hated it, but let's see if but it might work for like the general public. And it's like, no, it didn't at all.
a couple of years later, they were like, you know what? Every quarterback has 2 eyes. What if we tracked exactly where those eyeballs were? And if you tried to throw it where you could see, but the quarterback couldn't, it's kind of a roll of the dice on whether or not the ball gets there or not.
Right. So it's fun to be in this mode because you can try stuff and see what sticks, and then you're still looking at huge successes either way. So that was huge. Kirby Air Riders got announced, which like
Let Sakurai do whatever he wants. Is my
absolutely.
camp.
For
I
sure.
never played Air Ride. I think this is really weird, but I'll be there. I don't like to, and it's probably wrong of me to idolize certain developers, but it is a thing where I'm like, he just keeps doing it. I really like Kid Icarus Uprising is like one of my favorite games of all time.
Yeah.
I did that. So it's like a thing where I'm like, I don't know. You get some weird ones, man. I don't know.
It's just this game is bad. Is the thing about Kirby's Air Ride?
Yeah, I didn't like it.
It isn't good or fun to play.
No.
Aesthetically delightful. And also like so much because of the way that Sakurai brain works. There's so much smash in that game. Like there's so much melee in that game that like as a piece of history, it is important to understand the video game Kirby's Air Ride. The menu is the exact same as it is in Melee. Like it is. It is important. Awful to play.
I
feels real bad.
So curious as to what this one will look like, and also why they're doing it in the same year as Mario Kart.
Yeah.
Like two racing games.
But they are really.
They're different.
They're really different though. But I do know what you mean. But it's like. They are so different in a lot of ways.
I think to someone that knows what they are, I can totally see that. I can also see like
outside
a mom buying, games for her kid for Christmas or whatever. And like, well, he's already got Mario Kart, so he's not going to want the Kirby one.
He's not going to want
these guys are.
And you know what? The
yeah.
kid's gonna be healthier because they don't have to play air ride. So
Oh, you're so right. All right, the direct wrapped up the showcase with Donkey Kong Bonanza, which is just one of the most like obvious slam dunk game titles of all time. Like, got
I
it.
don't get it.
So you see, Bonanza is just banana with an extra Z in it, and he
What?
loves banana.
Where's the
Sorry,
first Z
Donkey
in
Kong
banana?
Banana Slamma?
Bananas Slamma. It's Bonanza Slamza.
That was I think that was his catchphrase in the show.
Was it?
Yeah, I that was my weird deep cut joke, and I was like, oh, these fools haven't seen the bad.
No, we
seen the
haven't
program.
seen the bad
I haven't seen the
show.
program. Sorry.
No,
Sorry.
it's good. No, you're
Um,
better. It's the Kirby air ride of TV shows.
Hey, like, yeah, dude. You know?
Yeah,
Yeah.
so Donkey
Like,
Kong
yeah,
got
dude, yeah.
redesigned, and I love this trailer because they really made this thing look like, okay, it's going to be a 3D platformer. It might be a Mario game. Nope, Donkey Kong shows up. You see bananas. All right, great. And it's like, okay, it's going to be a big kind of open space
Like
platformer.
64.
Cool. Yeah, like 64. And then, like, I don't know, 20 seconds into this trailer, Donkey Kong just starts fucking digging and punching and, like, breaking into mountains and, like, bashing gold and going absolutely apeshit, and it's awesome. And I don't know, I thought this was one of my favorite trailers in a long time, and also just, like,
It's really good.
I'm really hyped for this, and also seeing all the previews that dropped today. Like, literally everyone that picked this up at the preview event was like, "This game fucking rocks."
Yeah.
So I'm
it
really
has-
excited.
The things that Donkey Kong are trying to get are minerals, rocks from
Yes,
the earth.
rocks,
He
yes.
eats them. He wants them because he wants to eat them.
He wants to eat the rocks.
The rocks from the earth. Mm-hmm. That's it. That to me. That's video gaming.
That's really
the
good.
the monkey wants to dig a hole and hit stuff so he can eat some rocks.
Yep. It's
Okay,
really good.
You
Sure.
got me, gang. That's it.
Yeah.
I will give you $500 for the box.
Something I'm just like not clear about, even through some of the stuff I saw today. I haven't read all of it, but like how permanent and malleable are these levels? Like, is this
Yeah.
just this like is it almost a No Man's Sky kind of level of
Sure.
open and whatever, or are there kind of some like soft limits of what you can do? I have to imagine that there are, but this just looks so like systems heavy for a platformer, and I'm really excited about that.
There's like density that they want you to like, keep in mind. Like the different things that you are grabbing and picking up have different densities, and then there's like a Pokemon type chart esque, or not a like a Fire Emblem axe beats sword,
Right.
bow beats whatever, like triangle, of whether or not the object will stick to the other object and allow you to build a platform to jump on,
Yeah.
or if it will break the object that you are throwing it at. Yeah, like I love systems is yummy.
Systems.
I love when
Num, 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 num.
Nintendo makes a game with a system like this, and the trailers, and every time you play it and you see people play it, it feels like you're breaking the game, and they're like,
Right.
we know that you like
Yeah, we
feeling
know.
like that. We know
Yeah.
you like making the laser tower in, Tears of the Kingdom or whatever that kills everything in one fight. That's fun.
Yeah.
We wanted you to have fun, so it's cool that you spent a lot of time to make up a thing like this.
Yeah.
This game also is going to be wild speed runs, which I'm very
Dude, I
excited
cannot
for.
wait.
So
Just-
I
excited.
can't
coming up with the
wait.
weirdest, digging and building combinations. Yeah.
Yeah, because every time I watch anybody play Super Mario Odyssey, I'm like, this is a different video game. The one that you're playing than the one that I
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
And I can't wait for there to be a core mechanic that I never engage with, like jumping on Cappy
Cappy.
in Odyssey.
Yeah, there's a lot going on. If you haven't watched the trailer, you should just watch this trailer and just try to like pick out what's happening. I mean, there's just so much happening all at once. There's climbing mechanics. There's so much verticality, both up and down. It really does feel like they took a lot of lessons from Mario Odyssey and very specifically a lot of lessons from Tears of the Kingdom and said, let's just like go crazy with this design. And I don't know. I also think the redesign for Donkey Kong is really smart because I'll be honest, like the Donkey Kong Country design for Donkey Kong, like, I'm sorry, like has sucked forever. Like he just looks like a weird sex pervert monkey. I don't like it. Like he just really, he's not cute. He just is bad. So I'm happy that they did this redesign, personally. But this game looks like a blast.
There is like a cuteness just with his eyes being different.
Yes.
I do think I broadly agree with you of like
They made it cute. They made him cute.
Yeah, Wario
He's cute
appears on the screen and my partner will go ew. And
Right.
Donkey Kong I think has the same effect but won't anymore if this
Yeah,
movie
they
looks
fixed
like-
Yeah.
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 John, you were asking about the persistence of the.
Yes.
So it seems like it is persistent for this time that you're in the level.
Okay. So when you leave
is
and come
my
back,
understanding. It'll come back.
it'll come back.
But
Because
while you're in
there are
there,
definitely
it is-
distinct levels here, but they're huge.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's what it seems like is
Okay.
the case.
That makes a lot of sense. You also have a guy in this one, so you had Cappy. You have like a
Yeah,
rock guy,
friend. Yeah.
that sits on your shoulder. It's cute. Like what I like about this one is like there's something off about it, but it's not as off as a Wario game. It's this
Yeah.
weird in
Yeah,
between of like the cuteness of Mario and the kind of the off-puttingness of a Wario game.
Yeah.
And it's somewhere in the middle, and I think that's a fun energy to play with
And
for Nintendo.
it's a good way to redefine and recontextualize what this character is, especially if
Yes.
you're going to go through the labor of making him look completely fucking different.
Yep.
Like, yeah, he's gonna look different. I do think this puts him in a weird spot though for the motion picture because he's like
I know.
He looks
What,
kind
like-
of like this in
He
the
looks
movie.
kind of
he's
like it.
kind of like this, but he's
But
still
yeah.
closer, I would say, to old Donkey Kong than he is to this. But I'm willing to assume that Nintendo doesn't care.
Yeah,
They're
I was about
just
to say, like,
it's whatever.
he could look like Seth Rogen in the next movie, and it wouldn't matter.
Yeah, you
Like, it
Yeah.
just
I
doesn't
think we
matter.
get a Seth Rogen Donkey Kong spin-off.
Oh
and
God,
I think that
yeah,
they're-
I do,
I do think
I do, I
think that,
100%
yeah.
do. Yeah,
And I just think it's like, obviously it's this. The roller coaster is coming out this year. Like, there's so much other stuff that is Donkey Kong related that I think obviously times out for this. So, yeah, exciting stuff.
exciting stuff. There's
When do you
still-
think this Mario game's coming out?
Oh boy, I am stunned. I mean, maybe we can just talk about that for a moment.
What
I
Mario
am-
game? Saying, like,
I
a
guess Zelda.
I am.
conceptual-
I'm stunned that as 3D Mario that came out in October 2017.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's been a
It's a long
long fucking time. That's I think the biggest gap maybe we've ever had since they started making these. And yeah, because Mario 64 was 96 to 2002, I believe, for Mario Sunshine. And then the Galaxies were like 2007 and then 2008, something like that. So yeah, it's kind of shocking to me. I don't know, maybe sometime next year.
I feel like this
I'm-
is that team.
Yeah,
the
and
vibe I
it is.
got.
It is
Yeah.
that team. But what I would like to posit is that they've been sitting on this one for a while
Yeah, I
because
I
they
can
do
definitely
like
get that
they
vibe.
like to do that. They
Yeah.
do really like to
Have a game,
video
be
game,
basically
finished
perfect and finished in the can, and
Yeah.
then sit on it for a
and
little
then
while.
sit on
Yeah.
it.
Mario
So,
Kart also.
Yes. So yeah, that's the
Yeah.
exact one. There's no way they haven't been basically done with Mario Kart World for
For
the
a
last
long
like,
time.
3 years.
Yeah.
That game,
Because
that game is done.
Yes.
Like that game,
and
that
has
game
been.
is done.
They are not
Yeah.
working on it. They might not even be working on DLC for that game anymore.
Right.
Is how
Right,
done that
yeah,
game
yeah.
might be.
Yep.
To me, the thing that makes the most sense is that, and it's just like really stepping back. Nintendo does like to look forward, and I think that they perhaps saw this financial situation happening. I don't think it would be an outrageous assumption to make that sales on this box will be soft this year. But they will be better in a year and a half, in 18 months, if you can be like, okay, well, you didn't buy it before, but it is $100 cheaper now, and also the Mario game is out.
Yeah. Right.
2 seems like maybe a better sell. I don't think it's very far, but I don't know if it's 12 months from now close.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't either, but it's still stunning to me that this is taking a long time, but it will be really interesting to see because, Bowser's Fury, which I guess was in between these things. I didn't really count it, but I guess that is true. It's new.
It's new and like very clearly a culmination of like it's a hybridization of Odyssey's ideas and tradition those side scrolly 3D world ideas.
It's clearly a challenge to themselves for something to come. It feels like So yeah, it wouldn't surprise me if like there are a lot of, but I'm going to be really interested to see how the most mechanically dense Zelda game ever. The most mechanically dense Donkey Kong game by like a million miles ever is followed by Mario. Like I'm really interested in what a systems forward Mario
tiles.
Game. Tiles?
Yeah, like a Civ.
Okay.
You can only play the next Mario 3D game with the 2 mouse format from
mouse,
drag
that's the
and
only way.
drive.
Wow.
That's the only fucking way. There are still some outstanding details that we did not cover in this podcast discussion for Nintendo Switch 2. I might clean some of those up in a bonus or write about them on bgbs.com. But we did cover a ton of ground here, and we ought to move on. I'm really interested, Charles. You have been playing a game called South of Midnight that we have been talking about for several months at this point.
Yes, sir.
Tell us about South of Midnight. I'm really interested in games about the South. I'm really interested in games that are about a lived experience that are not often shown in a video game. Yeah.
Yeah, I like it so far.
And that has been Charles's take on South of Midnight. Thank you, Charles. No.
Yeah, so it is a kind of action-y platformer.
Yes.
It very much has kind of an old school vibe in how it's very linear. There's like an upgrade tree, but it's not even a tree. It's just like a few categories you can upgrade, and you upgrade stuff by like going a little bit off the beaten path, and you pick up these little mystical things called floofs, they call them.
Hell yeah.
And it's fun. So I think my TLDR is aesthetic, presentation, story, fantastic. It's a beautiful game to look at. It's a very pleasant game to play. The whole time I'm playing it, also a thing about Game Informer coming back is people have been very nice. Xbox gave me an Xbox, so I have a Series X now.
Whoa.
Hell
This is the
yeah.
first
Nice.
game I'm playing on a Series X, and what a first game to play on a Series X.
Yeah.
It is very, very good looking, and it is just a great example of how just like really committing to an art style pays off so hard.
Right.
The music in this game is not only just like good, it just sounds good to listen to. They will have like a lyric accompaniment soundtrack to like big story moments. So as
That's
you're like
cool.
chasing a boss through, you just have to do like a platforming section to get to the next phase. There'll be a guy strumming on the banjo, like from the perspective of the boss of like, I was a big tree and I didn't like my brother, so I had to get another, and I put him in a tree. And it's just like that kind
Hell
of thing,
yeah.
and it's just like so charming and whimsical. That's the word I'm looking for. This game has whimsy out the ass. It is very, very nice. It's also starring a black person, and it is not about blackness in general, but I enjoy how black this protagonist is, if that makes any sense. There'll just be lines where I'm like, black people do say stuff like that. There's a part where she and her mom make up like a little song about something, and I'm like, I've done that so many times. I don't know. It's just it's so dumb to say like it's not dumb to say. Everyone says representation matters. It's like a phrase you hear a lot, but it's always really weird when I feel represented in a game. I'm like, oh wait, it does matter.
Fuck, it
No,
does matter.
Shit.
Yeah.
It always feels really kind of empty and overused until you experience it. I literally was watching the trailer for probably the worst looking game on Switch 2. Going, holy shit though, like it matters. Like I totally get it. Yeah.
And it's also like I appreciate that they let her. They clearly care about like the culture of the people in the area when they're like telling the stories. But just there's lots of games that have black characters where you don't like feel their blackness as much. A game like the main character in Forspoken is black, right?
Yes,
I didn't play that much of that game, but that's a good example of like. Black character, she is black, so there is some of that in there, but you can tell it wasn't written by that audience or that.
Yes.
Writing
Yeah.
team.
To what
Anyways,
end? A little bit.
Yeah. And so I just really like that about this character. The part that I'm like not as crazy about, but not necessarily negative on, is just like the combat and just the structure of the game is a lot like. You just walk mostly in a straight line, and if you can see there's a path that goes left and right, and left is the main way to go, and right's the way to go get a little treat, and so you get the little treat, and keep going.
Right.
Every combat encounter, you walk into a like magically gated off arena, and it's just enemies will spawn in, and you fight them, as they come in waves. But there's never any variation in terrain, like depending on where you are, it doesn't look very different. So it's always just like a blank. Mostly circular arena. Sometimes the shape of it will change a little bit. So combat is like more or less one note. But again, it's not like bad. It doesn't suck to do, and it doesn't often overstay its welcome. It's just not like the reason you'd play this game. So yeah, I think those are like the main bases. Yeah.
From what I'm understanding from the review embargoes that have dropped, is it's not a long game. It's going to be a thing where it seems to have an awareness that it's maybe not the most mechanically dense game out there. It's not going to overstay its welcome. So maybe that'll be the case. Yeah, I think in the preview cycle for this, like the gameplay combat specifically looked the least interesting to me from a perspective of like, okay, you're going to describe these enemies like they're really, really different, but I know that they're not. Like this is not. This is the same kind of like we're throwing enemies at you like in God of War. Like I like God of War, but at some point it's like, okay, this one you can't hurt with your ice axe. You have to use your blah blah blah. You have to get behind this one. It's not. You're not reinventing the wheel, and I get the sense that this is even simpler than that.
Yeah, one thing that's interesting decision is when you're hitting enemies, you're not stunning them at all, so it's not like you one up on someone and you can wail on them. You do have to like get a few hits in and then dodge away, and I have like died a number of times in the game. Like it's not like super easy. Yeah. But it isn't complicated. And I don't think that, again, I don't think that's like a damning fact about it. I just think it's something to know going in. Like if you're looking for a dense action game, this is not it, but it does most of the other stuff pretty well.
Cool.
I feel like I had another thing I wanted to
How long
say about it.
Do you know?
I think it's like 15 hours or so.
Yeah, I've seen people say
it's a
10 to
perfect
12.
number.
10 to 12 or 15 hours.
Okay.
Yep.
Wow, that's delightful.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, I can't remember what the last thing I was going to say is, but I am
Were you going to talk
enjoying it.
about how, I mean, it's in Game Pass, which like obviously we all know is the best deal in games right now. So like,
that's gonna pop me every single time you do it. I don't know why. It's so fucking funny.
But that was it. I just wanted to say it. I just wanted to say the line. So I didn't really.
Well, you know what, Niki? It's crazy because I was literally about 2 seconds away from asking if this was a Game Pass because I couldn't remember. So I almost teed you right up for it, but I really appreciate that I didn't need to. You just told me. Yeah, that's funny. Yeah, I'm looking forward to playing this one. There's a lot of stuff kind of like suddenly I'm really interested in playing. Niki, you finished Avowed. You want to talk about that for a second?
Okay, so last week, Ben and I talked a bunch of shit about the ways that the last areas in the game are like
Yeah.
feel kind of like spacey. And the ends of those games, I was thinking about it. It feels like when you're coming down from after having a gummy, and your brain is like kind of there, but everything is still like 6 inches away from being a cogent thought. Is what I would describe the back half of Avowed feeling like. Except that last area is like, nah, watch this, you stupid fucks. Watch this. You thought you thought we lost it. No, absolutely we did not lose it. That game is great. Like that game is the last thing that you do, the last big choice you have to make was another choice where I was like, fuck, dude. Yeah, this is hard. Like this is you have placed me in an impossible situation. Thank you so much for this.
I think depending, like genuinely, depending on the day and the mood, that's a top 10 game all time for me.
Oh yeah, no, I am in love with Avowed.
This game. I love this game.
Yes, it's really really good. Yeah, I don't think I have anything new to say about it other than I finished it.
You finished it. Okay.
I want so much of stuff from it. Which is to say that, like, I want there are so many, and at the end of the game is not spoilers, I don't think. I'm sorry if it is, if you think it is. Get better or different thoughts. The game finishes.
Get better at different thoughts.
The game finishes. It finishes, and then it gives you a credits, or right before the credits, and then it's like, here's where everybody is. Kind of thing, and depending on the choices that you've made, it changes the things that the narrator says. But all of them have custom, hand-drawn, hand-illustrated art that are, and it's just beautiful. It is so beautiful, and I want prints of it, and I would love to, Microsoft, I would love to give you money for prints of it. Or I guess I can just take screenshots of it and take it to the CVS. But I would prefer to not have to do that. So if you could go on your store.xbox.com and put some prints up for me to purchase with my money, that would be great for me.
Nikki, I heard that you actually have some extra money left over because you invested in the best deal in gaming. Is that right?
Yeah, so, no, it's because of the fact that I'm saving so much money on video games by giving them money every month. You know what? I do have money, so I can buy as many prints as I want. So, please.
This would be amazing.
That's what the Sabrina Carpenter song is about.
Please.
It was please put Avowed on the store. John, are you playing anything?
I was gonna play Atomfall for this, but then
can I talk about Atomfall?
Yeah, we can play Atomfall. We can talk about Atomfall because, like, I did kind of start it, and I didn't say this when we started talking about this before we recorded, but I was like, I don't know if I need this one right now in my life. I'm good. What did you think about it, Charles? I know you played a little bit of it.
No, I reviewed it. I put it up on.
Oh yeah, you put it in ton of time.
Yeah, you got a 7 out of 10.
It's your favorite game of 2025. I can't believe it.
So it's a little bit interesting. I think it suffers from a name and a visual presentation that makes you think it's like Fallout, and it's not like Fallout. It seems like
what is it?
It seems
even looking at it makes it look like it's a Fallout,
and which they did on purpose, 100%.
If I were to tell you that Fallout, the American TV show, is based on a BBC show called Atomfall, you'd be like, absolutely, that's where it came from. Yep. It's about a British, like in the 1950s, they made some kind of scientific discovery, and it was so dangerous that they just built a huge wall around the thing that they discovered. And you wake up in this zone, and it is just a society of people. Society is a loose term. A bunch of people living within these walls, and you're trying to get out, basically. There's not the atom in question is like nuclear like power plants. It's not like atomic bombs. And it's a survival game, so it's like you're crafting all your stuff.
Thanks so much.
Very scarce, like bullets and resources and stuff. base combat can be very deadly. The thing that really bothered me about it is you are given the option to sneak. There is a stealth button. There's mechanics of being seen and not seen. There's tall grass you can hide in, but it's really bad. You get seen. Oftentimes, I would be detected, and I could not see who detected me.
Awesome.
Like, probably 75% of the time, I would be detected, and I'm like, I don't know where you are. I'm literally getting shot, and there is a dark cave, and I can see them really far away that I can tell the bullets are coming from, and there's just nothing I can do. And also, you die in, like, 3 bullets.
It's just 8 random British people shooting into a cave. That's all it is. Yeah.
It's also a thing where I was like, I think the premise is actually kind of interesting, but the execution is so like bare bones post-apocalypse of like, there's a military in here, and they're pretty strict about who they let get around and do their thing. But also, there's the druids, and they're a little cult, and they worship the dirt. Ooh, wonder what that's about. And then also, there's outlaws.
Great.
I don't know what the outlaw. They're not organized. They don't seem to have a leader. You just start up, and the outlaws will just shoot at you. And I'm just like, I guess I'll kill dozens of this faction of people. Who's, I think that's a thing where it's like, don't go into this expecting a fallout because you cannot talk to a lot of people. You go into the main town. There's people walking around. You can't interact with them. If you get too close to the guards, they'll aggro. Will start building up, and they will just shoot you for standing close to them, which is actually a detail I enjoy. But like, there's like.
The game is based on the police's "Don't stand so close to me." That's that's actually where that's crazy.
The game, as far as I can tell, doesn't have a system to talk to multiple people at a time, which is fine. But as far as I can tell, there are maybe 20 people you can talk to in this game across the 13 hours I was playing it, and that just means that there's a lot of information you're just getting from picking
From a
up
book.
notes in it'll be like, I'm going to record this on a tape recorder and then set it behind for someone to read, 20 years from now.
I'm going to tape this note to the skull that I left in the toilet.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
This it's Rebellion, right? The people who do Sniper Elite. And this is their first one of these kinds of games.
I like the shooting. I just don't like the storytelling particularly. It is fun to like explore. You'll get there. It's like an investigation clues based quest thing, kind of like Assassin's Creed Shadows, but done a little better. Where it's like, this person is at the old barn. Here's roughly where the barn is, and you can look and be like, that's a barn. They're probably in there. As opposed to Assassin's Creed is like, they're in North Sakai, but east of Kyoto or whatever. And you're like, all right, I guess I'll wander around these several city blocks and hope I can find them. And this one, it's like, the big old bomb that never blew up that we keep around? They're somewhere near that. And I'm like, well, I can actually see that on the horizon.
That's a land point.
That's what a real person would tell me to do. So it's like a thing of like, if you're for some reason really hungry for like a survival shooter, it's not like a terrible game, but there's a lot of games that do it better than this.
Does the game, like, if I'm Sniper Elite, I'm putting the X-ray of a bullet going into a guy's dick in every game. Does this game allow you to do that or no?
No.
What the
I
fuck
don't
is
like.
the point?
Literally and honestly, I don't play those Sniper Elite games because I'm bad at sniping. I'm not gonna like this game. But it's like, no, give me a game that y'all made where I can watch the bullet go into a guy's balls and they explode. Like, I want to see that. I want to see that.
It's just, I think part of it is that, like, it's kind of fun to be like, I don't like this guy, so I'm going to blow his balls up. And this game is like, you're going to be more stressed about your bullets than the humanity of the people that you're murdering en masse.
Yeah,
Like,
you're
there's a
sad
part where
about
it's
the
like,
waste of the bullet. It's like, oh, will the bullet come out cleanly so I can collect it? Oh, it's settled in the liver. Man. Come on.
Spend 10 minutes losing body. Oh, the other thing about it, I figured out after I beat the game, there is a way you can upgrade your stealth. Because this game does a thing where you unlock skill trees by finding skill booklets in the world.
Yes,
which I think is dumb. Because
that's my least favorite part of this.
You start with 4 out of. Oh yes, yeah. You start with
Yeah.
4 out of 12 skill trees, and you can only find them by finding the books, but you don't know what the trees are. So I went through the whole game being like, it's dumb that they have this half-baked stealth, and later I'm like, oh, it seems like they baked it a little bit. I just didn't find it because I didn't know to look for it. And also, I was looking for stuff. I needed cotton to make bandages because I was bleeding out all the time. So it's not like I wasn't trying. Yeah. Anyways.
The only reason I knew about the skill thing is that I fired this game up and I was going to play it, and then I knew I was about to have to do something, so I was like, all right, I'm not going to start this, but I am going to read the little like tutorial stuff that's in the, and it's like you're going to get skills by reading books and getting these little like things. And I was like, it's one of these, huh? Okay, well.
It would be one thing if it was like, this will make your pistol like if it was really specific skills or like kind of like side stuff, but you can't upgrade your guns unless you find the gun upgrade book, and I'm like, I can't imagine playing through this game with like the base rusty guns you find all the time.
Yeah, that's nuts. All right. Let's move on to a couple of Hive questions. Every single week you can ask this Hive question by going to discord.gg/VGBs and go into the Hive category. Go to Hive content, ask us a question, but you have to be a member. Go to vgbs.com/join to become a member of the Hive. Charles, this is from someone named Imran Khan. Asks.
Sounds like a loser. Sounds like a loser. I don't know.
If Charles could get rich, but he would have to grow 1 inch for every $10,000 he gained, what would his upper limit be?
Per 10 grand? Is that how often
now,
I'm gaining an inch?
When I first read this question, I thought it said 100,000.
I also thought 100,000.
But 10,000 is crazy.
Yeah. For anyone that is not familiar with me or is just looking at the video version, seeing me sitting down, I'm 6'6", so I'm already very
Charles
tall.
Is very tall.
Really tall.
Like honestly, maybe like $20,000, like permanent inches. Is it? Do I lose the, like if I lose the inches when I spend the money? It's like I'll just be really.
I think
I'll
it's
have a really hard
permanent.
time on the walk over to the dealership.
I think it's permanent. Yeah, right. Like I think it's permanent, which makes this crazier because it's like, okay, I'm gonna go buy a Jaguar. Now I'm 8.5 feet tall.
Yeah,
and now I can't fit in the Jaguar. Yeah.
I am the one thing I've ever wanted to be taller for is I'm 198 centimeters. I would love to be 2 meters tall. I think that would be
that
perfect.
would be awesome.
But like for money, it is a thing. This is I think a more interesting way to phrase this question is if I'm losing height. Because then I think it's a much more thing of like how much do I value height versus money?
Yeah.
Because I could
40 grand but here's the thing, 60 grand and you're still really tall.
Yeah, 60 grand and I'm 6 feet tall is like, I can handle that. Now, that would be weird. That would be really, that would be weird. It is already weird.
Because it's not life-changing money.
No, it isn't.
Correct.
It's like, it's not. I mean, like, I'd love it right now. It'd be amazing. It would change, well, let me be clear. It would change your life for the next year or something. But it's
Also, just to be clear, like, there's a big power dynamic of just being tall in that whenever I meet someone, no matter what's going on, I have already impressed them a little bit. They're already like, oh, you're really tall. That's the first thing people say to me. So I'm like, if nothing else, I'm the tall guy, and that is one generally positive attribute people can apply to me.
You could be the normal guy with $60,000.
Exactly. Here's the other thing. If I lose 6 inches, and this is a thing that won't come up very often. It'll hit. My girlfriend's dad and both of her uncles will be taller than me now. And that's like a power dynamic. It's like, I don't want that.
Can't have that
I like
either.
them, but also part of it is like, hey, look at me. I'm a big man coming into your life. And they're like, gotta respect that. Gotta respect this
him.
big man dating my niece/daughter.
Are you the tallest guy in games? Are you the tallest person in games?
So Greg Rice is, I believe, a Sony PR guy who's 6'9".
6'9". Yeah,
and
that's tall.
When I was at Summer Game Fest last year, people were like, "Are you tall? Are you taller than Greg?" No, he's definitely not taller than Greg. And when you're 6'6", you are taller than most people. So
Yeah,
whenever someone's
no,
like,
for
"This is a
sure.
tall person," it's like a kind of silly thing. It's like, we can do the back-to-back height thing, but it's always going to be embarrassing for them because I'm going to be taller.
Yeah.
I was filming a min-max travelogue, so I was like, I'm going to do it. I'm going to go up and do it. Immediately saw him from like 30 feet across the room. I was like, I can't believe I'm going to do this. Because I know he feels exactly how I always feel of like, let's do the back-to-back. Let's see who's taller. And I went up and I did it, and I was trying to be, extra fun camera person. But the next time I see him, I'm going to be like, hey, man. I'm really sorry I did that to you. As someone who knows what that's like, I want you to understand I'm an actual living, breathing person with thoughts and feelings, and not just a human measuring post for you to stand up against. But
yeah.
It was close though, huh?
It's close.
close.
And like,
Shockingly
it was like
honestly,
he had 3 inches on me, so it wasn't like we had to do the hand thing. It was like, he's tall.
honestly, Charles, you handle that better than I do. When I see someone else in the wild in a wheelchair, I'm like, if you say let's race, I'll bleed you out like a pig in the middle of the supermarket. Like I will, like I'm out of here. Like there's no way I'm gonna do any fucking shenanigans. But like no, 100%.
There's just
no
a
way.
like, when I was a sophomore in high school, I switched math classes, and my new math teacher was like 5'1", and I came in and I was trying to ask her. I was like, "Hey, I'm Charles. I'm new here," and she like didn't listen to me, and she was like, "You're so tall. I'm not even as close to as tall as you were." And then did the thing where she jumped, trying to be like, "Look, maybe I'll get taller than you." And I was like, "I don't know calculus, and I'm trying to learn for some reason. Should I sit in the front?" And she was just like fully not listening to me. And then eventually she started talking to me. She does not remember that at all. Something comes over people when they're presented with an absurdly tall person.
I gotta climb. I gotta jump.
What if I stand
God,
on this?
that's
What if I
crazy.
stand on a chair? Now I'm taller than you.
Oh,
yeah, but you
God.
gotta get off the chair though, dude.
That is crazy. All right. Abyssal DCL asks us all, what's your Matrix name? Great question.
Neo 2. I think.
Okay, Neo 2.
Yeah.
Sure. I'm Maestro.
Okay. Now, I want to be honest.
Actually, wait. Let's do Triple Deke. Hi, I'm Triple Deke.
Huh? Better. I like Triple Deke a lot.
Triple Deke.
It doesn't make
Okay.
it makes less
Makes
sense.
no sense.
Okay.
But I like Triple Deke more.
Yeah.
My first thought was Cortex.
That's good.
Okay,
And I
Cortex
don't-
is good.
I was like, honestly, I don't know if I could define Cortex.
It's part of
I
your
just
brain,
think it
ain't
was okay. Is here's where I think I got it from. Is the villain in Crash Bandicoot?
Bandicoot, yeah, Neo Cortex, yeah.
Neo
Mhm,
so I
that's
thought
right.
Neo and
Yeah,
did word
yeah.
association with
Yeah,
Cortex.
Cortex,
But
that's
that makes
smart.
it better.
Go.
So I'm gonna
Smart.
stick with that.
Niki and I guess Charles technically also had this boss, but yeah, we all had a boss named Neo, who chose his name Neo because he just liked the Matrix a lot. So
You can do anything.
he would come to
do
the office
anything.
and simply he slept 6 hours a day sometimes in our
That's
office.
awesome.
Anyway,
awesome.
I wish I could have done that.
Sick.
One more question. Actually, 2 more questions. We'll make them quick. My Hero Zero asks, which would you rather play, PsyOps, the Mindgate Conspiracy, or Legend of Zelda, Tears of the Kingdom?
What? What is PsyOps?
Okay, but in PsyOps, you can pick guys up and then throw
I
them
know.
really far. And
I
throw
know,
them
it's
into
really
a big
fun.
Fan,
I
and
know.
you can pick up a box and then throw the box at the guy and kill the guy, and
It's-
you can be Scorpion.
It's got more maniacal whimsy than Tears of the Kingdom does.
Yeah. It's gonna be Tears of the Kingdom.
Yeah, it will be for me too.
Pretty up and down, straight and narrow. But yeah.
Okay.
Good question though. For
Yeah.
sure.
Hey, Grace asks, best find at Jungle Gyms, to Charles.
This is my answer. I don't know if it's the best answer, but is Jungle Gyms everywhere? Do you guys know what Jungle Gyms is?
No.
You mean the monkey
No,
bars?
no. Grace literally,
wow.
Grace
So
literally
much
prefaced
more.
this question by going, "I think I remember correctly that they're from Cincy. That
Yep.
Charles is from Cincy." Yes.
Okay. Jungle Gyms is an extremely weird Ohio place. It is a big grocery store. The basic pitch, it's a big grocery store, and it has a lot of international foods. So if you're like,
Okay.
I don't know if I can find like sushi rice at the grocery store, they'll have it at Jungle Jim's. Or it's like, I don't know if I can get like this authentic whole spice or whatever that I want to cook with, they'll have it at Jungle Jim's.
Okay.
The weird part about it is it's like if the Rainforest Cafe was a grocery store.
Oh my
like you're out in the
God.
parking lot and they're
Right.
just like
Oh my
cranking
God.
animal noises so
Oh
loud.
my God.
You're inside and like I don't know, one section it'll be like a huge tree. There will be like a giant monkey statue for some reason, and it'll just say the word candy on his stomach, and it's like I guess that's where the candy is.
I'm looking it up.
Yeah, it'll be like you want a weird like foreign soda, they'll have it there. You want they have like a supplement section with like a bunch of odd vitamins you wouldn't find normally.
Each store is 200,000 square feet.
They're big. Yeah.
What the fuck?
Yeah, they've got that big.
This is some literally Disney influencers going to a Jungle Gyms in Cincinnati that you're
that's
watching.
So funny.
Wow,
So
I want to go.
Yeah, I want to go to this too.
I'm checking out the weekly ad.
Oh yeah, the bathroom. So they're not porta potties, but the doors are porta potties. So that's kind of fun. Like you open it up and then it's like an actual bathroom
What
in
the
there.
fuck?
Now I'm out.
I'm not going to this. I'm not going to this.
It's weird. It's very much like a person from Ohio's like, what's the most exotic thing that you could make?
A
it's
porta
like,
potty.
the jungle. See if they got any like
Jungle.
sweeping images where we can see like the aisles and stuff, because this is like
There's
a
a
corner.
there's a Jungle Gyms podcast.
That weirdly tracks. I don't know why. Okay,
Okay,
yeah,
so they
there's a
have
Cincinnati section.
Okay.
What the fuck is Grippos?
Oh, that's a potato chip. I didn't realize there's so many things that are Cincinnati specific. One of them being that.
Grippo.
Oh, there we go. Wait, can we pause? Can we pause?
Chili spaghetti.
Skyline.
Chili
I
spaghetti.
sent a
Yeah.
picture of this to Nikki once. They
Yes.
sell bagged chili spaghetti.
Yeah,
Yes,
vile.
they do.
If you want
Vile.
pre-cooked spaghetti
Oh,
with the chili
it's
already in it.
pre-cooked.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, I know
baby.
it's done. It's just.
It's got
yeah.
the wait. It's got the chili and it's pre-cooked.
Yeah.
That's
sell
fucking
dog
disgusting.
They sell it in cans too, like SpaghettiOs.
No.
That's
Full
fucking
noodles.
disgusting.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
I want to get some Grippos.
Yeah, they're good. Anyways, they have more than Cincinnati stuff here. I just like that they're like, we deserve a spot in the international market just for our Cincinnati
Yeah,
stuff.
just for us.
Yeah,
This
no,
is a
that's
good. This is a good
delightful.
shot of it.
Yeah, it's
Why
big.
is it-
This is
why-
a big
why do
store.
they
This is like the normal grocery store section. They're not in the like the. There's like a.
Okay, so
Wait,
you could
why do
decide.
they
You
have-
could decide to just go home on your way from work to like pick up your
Regular
staples.
groceries.
It's
Yes.
not just okay. All right. Okay.
Yeah. But then there's also like if you go into like the Asia section, like here, if you pause, all these red signs are like.
Well, that's Great
so they've
Britain.
got
Names of
Heinz
countries.
beans and
So
digestive.
it'll be like
Interesting.
these are like the Australian foods.
Oh,
Got
they have
it.
like
cool.
a Vietnam aisle
That's
and they'll have
fun.
like a China aisle. Yeah, it's cool. It's a convenient place to go. I haven't been in a while because there's not one like close to me anymore.
Yeah.
The thing I was gonna say is they have a lot of weird hot sauces and like a thing
Okay.
my grandma is like. My son likes blueberries, and so like my dad will just for his birthday get a bottle of like blueberry hot sauce, and he'll be like, "This isn't good, but it's just the kind of the two
Yeah.
things your grandma associates with me, so that's
yeah,
what I'll
for
get."
sure.
Yeah.
There's
Wow.
there's nothing I wouldn't do right now to close my eyes and wake up in a Jungle Gyms.
I was literally. I'm like, I would love to, for the next hour and a half, like hang out in this place for
Yes.
sure.
We
Yeah.
went and it is kind of built like it's built to kind of be an attraction.
Yeah.
We went and specifically we're like we're not gonna get a cart because we just want like a few basic things you can't
Yeah,
find
that's
other
how they get
places.
ya.
And had people come up to us multiple times like, "Can we get you guys a cart?" Like, no, please, no. We just wanted cream soda and
no, he
specific
just wanted a
ramen.
couple
Oh,
things.
I was gonna ask why why is there a slot machine? The famous nation of Las Vegas. If you go, and then there's also a ramen UFO.
That's a
good.
ramen UFO.
If you go back to the regular grocery store section, There are a couple of yes, that's perfect. Why do they have NASCAR pit lane sticks, but it's got goldfish and Oreo on it?
Great question. Great question. Someone I can't imagine being like, "Ah, I really want some American regular flavor Oreos. Ah, great. Jungle Gyms, how convenient. It's also
I
like,
was
to be clear,
president-
it's like a 5 minute, not 5 minute. It's like a 2 minute walk from the entrance to the actual groceries. Like it's really long. They have
Wait,
like
what do you have to
big-
go past?
So there's all the carts, but then there's also like there's a coffee shop in there. I want to say
Oh,
there's like
wow.
a toy store kind of thing.
Great.
It's a very
Wow.
like elaborate structure.
All
Wow.
the stars are here.
All the stars are here. Well, you know what? Thank you for
There's a
telling us about.
bourbon bar in there.
There's a bourbon bar. Oh my god! Pick your 6-pack of
Yeah, they do that with a bunch
fancy
of like,
sodas.
What
sodas
happens if you
and
press that button?
beers. Tony the Tiger
There's
on
a-
a horse.
Wow.
There's
What?
like a. I guess this Jungle Gym. Is
But
that-
he's the king of
Jungle
pop?
He's the
Jim's
king of pop?
and he's
What the fuck? This is absurd.
Okay.
I would love to spend some time here,
Yeah,
like
no, I wanna go.
immediately. I want to go to this right now. Thank
They
you for.
even have a smoke-friendly lounge.
They do.
I don't.
That's
I have
incredible.
no memory of that.
Can you imagine walking into the smoking lounge? Someone opens the bag of chili spaghetti and they're smoking a cigarette, just taking frequent spoonfuls out of this bag, just
No, that's Cincinnati,
drags at a cigarette.
baby.
That's fucking Cincinnati.
Cigarettes and bag spaghetti.
Who day? Yeah. God, man, that'd be incredible. Well, thank you for telling us about Jungle Gyms. This is a delight. And you know what? You know what, Grace? Thanks for asking about Jungle
Thank
Gyms.
you, Grace.
We love Hive Questions because they open us up to new experiences like learning about Jungle Gyms. You can go to vgbs.com/join and join the Hive and ask us a Hive question whenever you want, and we'll answer it on the show. There are a few that we didn't get to today. I will answer those in a bonus sometime this weekend. Folks, we got to get out of here. We've been doing this thing for almost 2.5 hours. That is nuts. Charles, it's your time to shine, my friend. Plug away.
Wow. You can find me on social media at ChuckDuck365. You can support Game Informer at GameInformer.com, which would be great for me.
my.
I've got a bunch of. We relaunched the site recently. We
You have
put
so
up,
much stuff up, which is great.
Yeah, we put up 29 reviews in the time that we were waiting, just of games that we hadn't played yet. One of the games got a 5.5 out of 10. One of the games got a 10 out of 10. We haven't given one of those since Elden Ring, I think.
Damn.
I have done a bunch of those. I reviewed 1,000 Times Resist. I reviewed Mouthwashing. I reviewed Arco. I also edited some video reviews that are on the YouTube channel. Just lots of stuff there. You can find me at ChuckDuck365. I said that already. And also, I'll plug my brother Andre has music on Spotify and other streaming services. His name is Andre Harte. His most recent album is called "Friends Can Say I Love You," and he's actually very good. I'm biased because he is my brother, but it's also a thing where he played trombone because I played trombone, and then he got really, really good with it. And now I listen to his stuff. I'm like, oh, I'm kind of jealous. I should have.
It's fun when
gotten
you
music.
have someone in your life that you love that you don't have to lie about when you say that their stuff is
absolutely.
good. It's fun. It's a weird thing, but it's definitely true. Nikki, do you have
Got a
anything?
10. Oh, I see it. Never
Yep.
mind.
Never mind. Nikki, what do you want to plug?
I have a newsletter called Make You Think. It comes out on Saturdays now. I'm moving it from Friday to Saturday because the timing just doesn't.
I think that
I
makes a
work too
lot of
much
sense.
now.
Yep, you work too much now. Cool.
So it comes out, which is awesome. It's so awesome. It's just so awesome. Oh, what'd you drop?
I have a little Allen wrench.
Oh, an
here.
Allen wrench. Hell
Little
yeah, brother.
Allen wrench.
I've got an AirTag
Oh, sick.
Jimmer
I've also
got one
been
of
in my
these.
hand.
I was also playing with
Yeah.
this
We-
lens cover most of
we're all
the most of the
fidgeting.
Oh,
time.
yeah, nothing better.
That's fun.
Yeah, newsletter makeyouthink.club. Yeah, get subscribed because I'm going to send a bunch of pictures this weekend because I'm going away, but I'll be back. But yeah, the makeyouthink.club. John, where can people find you?
You can find me over at blueskyfloppyadult.com. Please go to vgbs.com/join. Really, 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 truly. Please review this podcast if you can. I will start reading your reviews on the air. I don't think we got... I can't believe I didn't fucking look before I...
What did you not do?
Apple Podcasts.
Ah.
VGBs. I said I would read them if there are none. Oh, there are no new ones, only the old ones. So y'all are out of luck. But go review it. If you leave me a 5-star review, I will read it on the air. Go buy a glider. Jesus Christ. Feetlegal.com. It's getting so fucking expensive to make.
No,
these
never been
now.
a better time.
It's crazy.
How?
It
Why?
is fucking crazy.
What do you mean? Why is it expensive?
How much more expensive these are to make than they were 3 months ago.
I think
Who-
that's
who's to
that's
say?
your fault, John.
Yeah,
I don't
it's
think we should-
your
I
problem.
don't think we
My
should
fault.
interrogate the
Lower the
world
price.
at large.
It's
at
my
all.
fault.
Lower the
It's
price. Change the
my
price.
fault. Anyway, go to feetlegal.com. And also, once again, go to vgbs.com/join. Please, 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 please join the Hive. We're trying to do more stuff with this brand. And hey, go listen to my conversation with Kate Lincoln Goldfinch, an immigration attorney. Things have already changed since we talked for the worse, but it's a really good conversation about what's going on in the world today, and we're going to do more stuff like that on the brand. So if you don't like it, you can jump in a river. But you know what? We've gotten some really good feedback from everyone, so I'm glad everyone appreciated that. Okay, folks, we're going to get out of here. We've been doing this. I think we broke. You know what, Charles? I think you went longer than Tim Rogers. You can now say that.
Wow.
You know, I'm probably also in real life longer than Tim Rogers.
You are. So new 5-star runtime here. Tim's got something to work toward next time he's on. Okay, folks, we will see you next time. Keep on buzzing. Bye. Wait a second. Bye. Now it's gonna go. Bye.